welcome to this stream.
Welcome.
Here we are
see
now.
That our audios are working correctly now. That I've fixed all of the settings that Dora so maliciously tried to destroy in her time here.
Hold on,
Very
Dora.
sorry for trying to keep the stream running while you were on a boat. Please, God, how can you ever forgive me?
I can't.
Okay.
We won't.
He's not a god.
No, you're
Yeah.
far too high level to deal with gods. Not playing. Oh, well, Garbledy Snorks. I've got to rejigger my flabibulator.
Oh. It
You
sounds
won't.
complicated.
I will, and I just did. So, while my flabibulator is rejorculating, allow me to go through the announcements really quick woo. Quick woo. Look at that. Thanks to Roll20 for having us as part of their Spotlight program. Also, thanks you to Kevin MacLeod, who provides our royalty-free music, which you will be listening to throughout this episode. Thank you to Jubblelucky at jubblelucky.jubblelucky for our art and tabletop, virtual tabletop, roll20.net. There's a YouTube, which is Roll It Slant. There's a Twitter, which is also Roll It Slant. There's an email, which is also Roll It Slant. There is a P.O. box, which is Roll It Slant. There is a Pony Express bird number, which is also Roll It Slant. There's a weird thing on my green screen that's not doing too well right now, but that's also Roll It Slant. Cool. So, all of that aside, we are back, ladies and gentlemen, to the last page! El Ultima Página, or actually it would be La Página Ultima, maybe?
I heard Pac-Man.
Pac-Man Ultimate. Yes. So the last page said maybe in Spanish as well. But that is not why we're here. It is not to teach you how to not speak Spanish. That's next week's episode. This week's episode we will focus on developing the characters and the plot of our story here with our 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons game. We returned last week after a bit of a hiatus, both in the story and in our lives, or at least my life. Well, probably yours too. You probably really missed us. It was probably very, very, very taxing for you. But we're here now. Everything's going to be okay. So, does anyone want to do a recap of what happened last week on the last page?
Will anybody do a recap, even though they don't want to? Cookie, you made a movement.
I was gonna say that you talked first, so therefore
No, I was
It's all yours.
providing support to Casey. You were the non-supportive one that spoke
Hold on,
first.
I'm still pulling up my notes.
I know, I'm buying time for you. We're buying time for you.
Beth, you're so thoughtful.
Time is
I am.
free, guys. Time is free.
Unless
Last
it's
time,
the
on
herb.
the last page, we returned back to be unceremoniously discharged from Shavia's service. The party no longer really needed, and given some oddly vague foreboding warnings that perhaps it would not be safe for them to continue. So, with a generous stipend package and 2 weeks of pay, the party headed out to accomplish some bookkeeping business and did some various things. In the 2 weeks prior to that happening, an internship of sorts at the Baroness Lindsay's living circus there. Groost spent some time along with Olive trying to learn more about everyone's favorite Figment pet, Eloise. And what did we learn about Eloise last session? We learned that you are what you eat. And so far, we've eaten some birds and the brains of children. So that is what we have.
Oh, that's right.
Cool. Now that that's sunk in a little bit, the party was a bit at a loss as to how to proceed, taking no narrative prompts from the Dungeon Master at that time, as they were fairly sedentary in their positioning throughout the world that I have so meticulously created for them.
Incorrect.
But we did eventually find a plot to grab onto, and the party offered some assistance to a stranger whom they met there. Does anyone recall the name of the stranger?
It is. I like trains. Marcas.
Marcas, male halfling, was in need of assistance, looking for somebody to help him, as he thought his home was potentially being invaded, which, after a short walk, you realized was actually the case. You found a somewhat perplexing creature who refused to talk to you after you beat it senseless and kept trying to talk to it and kept beating it senseless. And then, when it seemed like victory was yours and the sweet taste of searching its body would yield answers, the whole thing just disappeared, almost as if it hadn't been there at all. But it had. It was interacting with things. What did it want? What was it searching through? We do know one thing that it was searching through, as you spent some time there. It was a room filled with prophecies. Prophecies collected by our very own Marcas, male halfling, whom we described just moments ago, seeking help from the party. Perplexed by the seemingly wide variety of prophecies and the philosophical and moral implications of free will versus destiny, the party wasted no time in imploding their brains for several minutes, and then moved on to what was actually wanted by Marcas, which was help rescuing his daughter from death's door.
Literally at death's door.
Literally at death's door. That wordplay may or may not have been one of the only reasons I made all of this. So, the party agreed to help prior to learning all the details, but quickly was bolstered in their zeal and resolve after learning all of the details. And I've agreed to ferry Marcas to his daughter, the doorway to the underworlds, to bring her medicine that she so very much needs. But a foreboding omen is on the horizon. A large storm sweeping in from the ocean to the south of Crenel Bend. A storm that set upon the town very quickly. And after leaving the halfling's house to return, the party was going to swing through Crenel Bend and out north after gathering supplies for a bit of a journey up into the wilderness. However, the storm seems to be now hovered, stalled out above the town of Crenel Bend itself, and the dark, ominous clouds saw looming in the distance upon close inspection are actually groups of ravens circling around. Rain pelters down, wind blustery, hair tossed in your face and back, buttoned up, as you are already drenched to the core from the short walk back to Crenel Bend. And you see Crenel Bend itself absolutely beset with ravens. Looking up, you can also see other larger dark figures swooping and soaring high in the clouds through the storms. Lightning bolts punctuate the dark gray sky. And you find yourself at the edge of town looking at this somewhat foreboding and ominous sight.
Is it in the direction? Are they a grouping in the direction we need to eventually go?
Go ahead and make an investigation roll for me. See if you can determine any sort of rhyme or reason to.
Oh, what a bad roll from Olive. That's a 3.
All right. It appears that they're.
Sorry,
gathered...
it's a 10, but I got it a natural 3.
It
Sorry.
appears that they're gathered just kind of over the town. It seems somewhat nebulous. There are occasionally more concentrated areas of them, but you can't quite pinpoint any sort of rhyme or reason to it.
I feel like in my studies I learned that ravens are generally considered to be omens of good tidings, of great joy. So probably we should just go directly towards this, I think.
Ravens also taste good in chili.
They do. I've had an excellent raven chili.
They do.
I don't doubt that. I just the people I worked for tend to like their ravens, so we didn't tend to cook them. But you know, I'm sure that's fine. So weird. Okay. What is the? I'm sorry if I missed it. The other people in the town, what are they doing? Like, are they like kind of running inside, shutting their doors, nailing them shut? You know, like.
You don't see anyone out and about currently. If people fled from the streets, it has already happened. Strangely, no one out and about. You do see there, I mean, there are like lights on in some of the houses and such, and smoke coming up, so it doesn't appear that like it's just like totally gone from the people, but if they are inside, as you're guessing that walking anywhere in the street is likely going to at least give you 1 or 2 encounters with some ravens. Well, there should be no lines at any of the marketplace.
Have we even made it there?
No, it's in the center of town. We're quite at the outskirts right now. Have you been to Colonel Bend before? Yes, you have. That's where I met you.
Yeah, I just had so much rain in my eye, I couldn't tell.
Yes. Yes, we're here.
Oh, you also have a feather. Oh, there's another one.
Oh, okay.
Zahara comes up and just starts pulling feathers from your hair.
Well, we do need supplies, and don't think anyone's going to be open now, so perhaps they left all of their shops in
Wobbly?
enough of a hurry that we could maybe
Wobbly.
procure some things on
Wobbly.
the down low.
Wobbly.
Elias just looks at everyone.
Oh, is
It's
that
like boring.
is that an unapproving look of robbery, or is it a let's rob look?
It's more of a I wonder what you're going to say to this opportunity. It's a questioning, but there's no doubt that there's going to be judgy looks following whatever you say. But
You're,
yeah.
you're fitting a lot of emotion into that one look.
The eyebrows are just doing a lot of work.
Olive is robbery neutral.
That's actually one of the alignments in the player's handbook.
Yeah, it really is.
Lawful good, robbery neutral.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes
True
it has to
robbery
happen.
neutral. Chaotic
True
robbery
robbery.
neutral.
So, if you go to the shop, you ask, at the counter how much something's worth, and they don't respond, that means it's free.
And if you can grab it and run away before they respond, that also means it's free.
It's true.
Did we not witness everybody boarding up their homes and places of work?
You did.
Okay, so here's the thing. I know we discussed this briefly, but I didn't. If we go now, one of you two clerically people can take care of us, potentially?
No. No. Who do you think I am?
A team
No.
player?
No.
Remember, today's stream is tagged with cooperation.
I am Ghost.
Yes, Groost, we know. But believe me, Groost, I never ever expect you to heal anybody.
Well, good Mirko, whatever. What's the halfling's name again? This is incorrect.
Marcos.
Marco.
Matthew.
Now, where's the next northern trading post that we can restock at if we were to leave without getting supplies here?
Well, we'd have to go farther east, and we're wanting to head north.
So there's nothing?
Well, it's much wilderness up to the north. There's not much civilization. Everything stays right near the coast. It gets pretty rugged. Between there, I mean, I suppose we could go all the way up and try our luck at one of the drow encampments. They might be willing to try, but I wouldn't recommend any of that robbery stuff with them. They'll chop off your hands and throw the rest of you away.
I'm happy to provide food and nutritious brand-based, divine created muffins.
I mean, I can work with that. I can do stuff with that. Marcos, does any of this look familiar? And she like feathers are still flying. Like takes them, brushes them off her face. Like when you took your daughter, were there lots of ravens and dark omens and storms and things like that? Do you think this is a reaction to what you did?
I mean,
Is it a prophecy?
I haven't seen ravens like this in whatever. I mean, they do seem to be swirling. That could mean something, but I don't know. Hard to say. Curious, most curious.
So I'm curious, sir.
I suggest we go north now. Try not to break and enter into the town stores. That's reprehensible to suggest, actually.
I'm good with that.
Reprehensible is in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah,
Oh, I
if
understand
only
that too.
you thought. I mean, I guess it's convenient to think it's objective.
True.
But I do think we're more worried about getting out of this than I am about getting supplies.
I'm sorry, it's raining and there's water in my ears, and I may have muted.
So I think
Maybe
if
you're really quiet.
Oh,
if what we're doing is like a big good, doing little bit of bad is like you know.
incorrect. You don't
balance
justify
it
your
out,
actions
right?
that way.
It evens out, and honestly, I think it adds a little bit of spice.
I'm not justifying anything.
Who are you
I-
people?
I believe that I can do whatever I want
What?
without justification.
Well, I'm a
That's clear.
glorified thief.
But
Gandalf said you were a burglar.
Zahara.
What's a bug?
Who else What is people's passive perceptions?
11.
In a storm
Oh,
with
14,
birds,
sorry,
let's
14.
see. I'm probably
Birds
at
heightened
14
my
as
pa-
well.
my
Oh,
perception.
17. I guess I'm trained.
Passive perception.
17. Nice. So,
It's because I have perspective. I have the height.
oh, yeah.
I'm just like, hey, you see what's coming, and everyone else is down here. No.
Yes. And the halfling's like underground. Well, Goliath, you very quickly notice that there is appears to be a figure, male human, not particularly dressed appropriately for a storm, that is sort of like kind of darts quickly, kind of covering his head like this as he goes across sort of the street, and sort of like runs to one other sort of like overhang thing, and then sort of stops and looks around, and there's a couple of ravens that kind of swoop in and fly by, but otherwise don't really pay him any mind. And you do see then, and only you, Malaya, notice this, there's an object that just sort of drifts past, following him, and you can see he opens his, the sort of, what is this called, lapel of his coat, and the object just sort of flies in and just sort of seems to disappear into the side of his coat, and then he kind of moves and takes more sort of mad dashes into the town. You can see a couple of these sort of maneuvers before lost in there.
Now, I suppose I would have tried to figure out. This is a floating object. Is that the idea?
Yes.
Or doesn't look like it was just thrown from one chair
No,
to the
it sort
garbage
of
can poorly.
glides behind him.
Okay. And the object, does it have any distinct features that's easily noticeable here in this Raven Storm?
Give me an active perception check. Since you would like notice this, and then
That's
you
the
know.
first thing I would look at. It's like, well, that's weird. And any conversation I'd have, I just literally stop it. Like, oh yeah, that. But no, feathers.
Yeah, hard to tell. It's maybe about like this big.
Okay.
And the others of you, like Zahara, sort of in the ballpark of like, 13, 14, 15, you would have seen like something moving, but not really picked out all those details.
Now, the human you said, that's not somebody we can, or I would have seen in town before. This is just a random person.
Hard to tell.
Too
I
far.
mean, you weren't really like,
Yeah,
keeping descriptive accounts of everybody you saw. So
Right, but it's not somebody I'm like, well, that's clearly the guy who runs the bingo.
yeah.
Right. All right. Well, I think other opportunists are doing what they can, but we should go.
Go, like leave town or follow that guy?
That guy is running from shelter to shelter because he's stuck out in a storm. We shouldn't. I think his goal is to stay in town.
What direction is he going in?
I've lost him into that
go-
maelstrom over there.
Going sort of in towards the middle of town.
He wasn't wearing anything so unusual that it'd be like, well, that guy was clearly like wearing full plate and running. Okay, so it might be something else in the situation. He looked like a regular townsfolk, or at least from what I can tell.
Another flash of lightning sort of just gives you a illuminated view of the sky, and you can see now that there's sort of like this weird, almost like tornado funnel like thing happening above, just all the way far up. Just everything's just now sort of starting to swirl, and you can see all of the ravens in amongst the clouds and all of that, and again these dark figures swooping there. If you were to make your way around the town, there is the Whispering River that is sort of like, the town is nestled into kind of the bend of the river, so you'd have to follow the river up along that way, past the
I hope I muted in time.
Fort Krennel. Here, I can show you the general layout of the town. So you guys are kind of out by where the Fort Krennel construction is, down here. So the road is all the way up.
So we have to go through town to go north.
In order to go on the road, you'd have to go through town, or you can kind of like, work your way up the river. And you do know that following this river up for some amount of time will eventually get you back to roads, as you recall your encounter with the tabaxi.
And
was
it's
a
easy to
bridge crossing.
figure out that the funnel is right above La Market Bazaar area.
Give me another perception roll.
I'm a trained weatherman. I do that on the side. Right. It's to be expected by high-numbered stats. I
Yeah.
will know.
So the funnel does appear to be farther away from you than you would think that the center of town is, but still sort of in the vicinity. So you're guessing it's not over the top of the town.
Well, we should go through town quickly. I'm gonna keep note of the changes of the funnel's location, as if maybe possibly it was somehow following person's floating item, as if the item was some sort of Mysterio-based illusion or something. And
All right.
I follow.
All right. So going into town, not around town. Yes.
Into town.
I don't see any other bridges.
You'd have to follow the river up. You'd be walking in a lot of wilderness if you did, but you would eventually get back to the road because the road does eventually cross back over there. But that's probably several hours of hoofing it.
There's
through
nothing.
the
Yeah,
wilderness.
I don't want to walk in a riverbank during a storm.
Yeah, that was also. Maybe it's just because I'm from a desert where flash floods happen, but no, thank you.
All right. So you make your way into the town. Are you doing this in any particular manner, or?
Funny walks.
All right. The Ministry of.
No, not that funny. Whoa. Amateur funny.
Don't get the ministry involved.
So you head on in, and you can see once you kind of get in the thick of it now, you do see ravens not just flying above you, but beside you and around. Although none of them at the moment seem to be paying you any mind, and they're all sort of flying up to the northeast in that sort of track. And you make your way now to the edge of the market, and you can sort of see that you haven't seen any other people out and about and around. The rain continues to pelt down over everything. Houses are lit up, street lights and such torches outside are trying their best to stay lit, but don't provide very much light at all in this. A little bit of a fog throughout everything gives it these kind of like halo glows of punctuated spots of light.
I do have a question as we're walking. Aside from their large numbers and strange circling, do these seem like natural ravens?
As far as you can tell, without trying
Catching
to
one.
pluck one out of the air, they seem to move like normal ravens and make normal cawing sounds and all of that. They're not flitting about silently. There is lots of chatter from them that is lost a little bit in the sound of the storm, but not inaudible. So yeah, unless you were to try to catch one, it'd be hard to discern the actual nature of the beast. So you find yourself on the edge of the market, and looking around now that you've gone in towards the center of town, it does appear like this funnel cluster is above the northeast part of town, around where Baroness Lindsay's living circus is located. You see a very large concentration of these birds there, and that appears to be the sort of focal point of all of this. But the market is before you. A lot of the stalls and such have been boarded up.
First, do you think we should go see if Baroness Lindsay's okay?
Sure. Well, sure. Sure.
You all see a figure run sort of across the market. Wyeth, you recognize this as the same figure as before. Kind of slows down, appears to be sort of searching, and then goes from like sort of one kiosk to another, and then gets sort of alongside one of them, and then stops, and then scoops something up, and looks like he grabs some sort of small kind of satchel or bag by its strap, and then sort of slings it over his shoulder, and then keeps on running.
So, should I see if Baroness Lindsay's okay?
You want to go toward the funnel?
I mean,
Well,
she was very kind to us and had a lot of animals that might get hurt.
Did she seem incapable?
she. Well,
I don't know. I never fought her in battle.
Of
Yeah.
all the people here in town, I dare say she was likely the first to start cleaning and preparing for a storm. That is just my opinion. We can go.
well, if you don't want, I hold no strong feelings either way.
Which direction is the guy going?
He appears to be heading northward at the moment.
NPC to follow us.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
he's heading like the direction that would take you kind of to the road, up and out, and then off to the northeast is where Baroness Lindsay's living circus is, and apparently today's attraction is birds.
I've heard of them.
Would this... Is this like a distraction to steal shit? Is she like creating this to distract something bigger happening?
Do you have a skill you'd like to use to determine that information?
Oh God. You know, maybe. No, I'm history to see if I remember her talking about anything vaguely that might have felt like she like did I observe her whispering to something? You know, because Bruce and I spent some time there last week.
I will give you an
With her.
insight check.
Okay. I know I'm reaching, but I'm gonna try.
Just to see if she discussed creating a bird tornado.
Oh, or if I 4. No, that I didn't see anything.
You think that despite possession of magical creatures, to arrange something like this to happen would likely involve manipulation of forces well beyond what you think that Baroness Lindsay is capable of.
Okay.
Would she be above doing it if she could? Who's to say?
Okay. Any other thoughts? We've got kind of 2 things going on here. We've got this person stealing stuff and running the way we're going, which suspicious.
Well, I support the hustle. Why just let him do his... How would you know he's stealing? Maybe that's his store. Being awfully judgy. If I went over there and took something from the store, would you think I'm stealing?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, oh, Groost, I know you and I have eyes.
Well,
You guys have it.
do we need to do anything in town? Perhaps the way to sort this decision deadlock is by helping nobody, and we just leave. We get food, and we head off to Death's Door, where we will die, unloved and unknown.
There, Groost, I love you.
Thank you.
That was so bleak.
What?
Sorry.
It wasn't bleak. That's just
Bleak?
goblin storytelling.
He breaks it. So what would you like to do?
I'm gonna whisper to my book to be like, what would Casima? Do you want a big funnel of ravens and stuff? Because that seems fun. Or to follow someone who's stealing stuff. I mean, you wanted adventure.
Why am I getting wet for this?
I can dry you off. It's no problem. And I do some prestidigitation to dry her off a little bit.
Oh, that's better. Well, I don't really know about any of this. Stealing seems quite mundane. The birds seem more interesting to me, probably magical. But if that person stole something magical, that would also be interesting. Don't know. It's a toss-up. You have free will. Decide.
I'm leading funnel.
Who's she talking to?
Birds.
Birds?
Bird time. I start walking towards the circus.
It's at the circus.
I open a window that I don't want to open. Walking towards the circus. Excellent. Alright. So, you make your way across the square heading out to the northeast, and you come sort of, 60 feet or so to the building, Baroness Lindsay's circus. You can see the front of this, fairly large square building, large compared to all of the other buildings, by no means monolithic. And it is just covered with ravens, lots of perching on it. You can see just kind of a swarm just sort of swarming towards the front. Some of them appear occasionally to fly and then just slam through one of the windows. And just crash in, and you get a sense that whatever is luring these things is likely inside, as it is just like a magnet for all of this. And you can see perched up on the top as the building does sort of like, kind of layer cake its way up into this sort of conical pinnacle at the top, which is sort of painted in red and white stripes, a la circus. Perched on the top of that looks like some weird kind of very large bat-like insect-like creature that's just sort of like perched almost like a gargoyle all the way up on the top.
Man, bear, pig. I knew it was real.
Yes.
How far away?
Up on the top of the roof, you mean? Or
Yes.
the door?
The gargoyle bat.
It's probably
fish
like
creature.
150 feet away diagonally or something like that. Maybe a little
First
less.
waves.
Alright. Doesn't appear like it sees you. And you all just sort of stand there like, huh. And then the double door in the front just sort of bursts open, and you see a bunch of ravens fly outwards from inside, and you see a small elephant there, sort of silhouetted in the doorway, like hero pose style, like swinging its tusks around. It sort of gores one of the ravens against the door frame, and then takes its trunk and like pulls it off and tosses it down, and then it sort of hops out into the middle of the sort of entrance area, and immediately the ravens sort of swoop in, and it gets like harried, and then it sort of like backs up a little bit as though it's made a mistake, and you see Caspian out behind, who just sort of like grabs the collar around the elephant, and he's trying to pull it back inside, and you can see there are other people inside the thing there, and as the elephant kind of gets back inside, Caspian sort of pulls one of the doors shut, and the other is closed shortly afterwards.
Okay, so you know how just to get me endeared into helping out this place, all it takes is stumbles the elephant. Bruce would run over to the door.
As this is happening, Zahara just says, "Actually, I've changed my mind. I think we're good. Let's go."
Oh, Stumbles is in trouble.
Stumbles is an elephant.
So, you're a
Go on.
humanoid.
True.
Yes.
I think you've nailed it, Chris.
Right.
You've stripped me down to my bare essentials.
I would like to, as an action, cast Detect Magic using my scribe thing. I can do that once a day.
All right. Detect magic has been activated as Groost begins to take off across the road, or down the road. I guess there's a sort of clear road between you and that. I'll let you all sort of get in actions or whatever have you before we.
I'm so sorry. I used that earlier. It would take me 10 minutes to do this.
Well, you begin casting the 10-minute ritual, which
Okay,
will
sorry,
definitely have time to finish because one of your party's just running across the way.
Yeah. So I think I think Olive does start to do it a little bit and is like, ah, fuck. And
I will follow Groost at a much more leisurely pace.
Which is pretty much keeping up with Groost. He's got little legs.
One of my strides is like 8 of yours.
I'll proceed. What's the halfling doing?
Looking up at you, being like, "How are you going to proceed?"
Yeah.
He is looking down at him in your quick assessment of the situation. Does not appear to be carrying a weapon and is completely unarmored in any way. You guess this halfling is not an adventurer.
Plains walking halflings. He's on his own. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna.
The unarmed, unarmored peasant halfling that traveled to death's door.
Not peasant. Not peasant. He's mentioned how he purchased his way across the plains.
He's a rich peasant.
Yeah. So I'm gonna follow the group as well, Zahara, but I'd like to make a perception roll because you had said 1, there's ravens, but 2, there's something else, some kind of insecto whatever thing. And beyond that, I believe you said there were shapes flying around in the funnel in the storm as well that were much, much larger. I'm very concerned about those, so I'm going to focus upward.
All right, give me a perception roll. And we'll see what we can see. Nice. Now you're getting it.
Now I'm getting average rolls. Excellent.
Yeah. So looking up, you do see that it looks like the same creature that's perched, or very similar to whatever the creature is perched up there is also the what you're sort of seeing in these shapes. Not huge by any sort of D&D mechanics sense, but substantially larger than the ravens. It's sort of like its torso is about medium-sized creature, and then sort of a wingspan that heads out. And you manage to catch in the flash of the lightning there. This is what it looks like.
oh, hey there.
That ain't okay.
I don't think that's shaped like a friend.
Up and in and around. And Bruce, you begin to run forward, making your way there. I will give you a map for context only.
Just
Just in case.
just casually. It doesn't mean anything.
I would like to tuck Marcas into a alleyway or doorway, or just say just hide there.
Oh.
Alright, so Marcos, you kind of stick him in alleyway here, and he just
Get
sort
in
of
that barrel. Go.
nods. Worked well for some other halflings. So you see up at the top, this large building sort of covered with ravens that is Baroness Lindsay's flying circus. There are some level changes in here. Just to let you know, I will if it's outlined in blue, it is lower. And if it's outlined in white, it's sort of like an elevated platform there, just to decipher what you're looking at. It's maybe about 10 feet down into the lower pits, and then maybe about 5 feet or so up onto that sort of terraced up area.
Could you also scroll the chat down a little bit further for the stream? They cannot see the wind.
Are the horrors represented on the board?
They are not currently. They are too high up for.
Thought one was down.
Well, one is perched on the top of. So that would be like, you know, just up above the very top of the map, but then like.
Okay, fair enough.
You know, 60 or 80 feet up. So pretty high up. All right, Groost, you are running in that direction.
You should change the grid to dark.
Bruce is heading towards the door.
I
am.
I think I can.
Oh. Okay.
The white lines are distracting.
Where's the door?
That's
Is this
fantastic.
the door?
At least for me.
No, the door is up right here. So you have to sort of run up the stairs.
Up where?
Towards the birds.
3 square is north of you, but you have to kind of go up the stairs there.
So can I keep on moving? Like, what's the...
Yes, you're not doing so stealthily at the moment, so continue your flail towards the door.
Okay.
Alright, and here, as you're sort of trying to move this last bit there, like, birds are, like, crashing into you, and it's just more birds than there is air at the moment.
It's bird mayhem out here.
Being flanked by birds.
And you see a closed door in front of you. And it does look like most of the windows at the very front around the door have been smashed, but it looks like there's something, you know, blocking them in from up above.
Crystal
From
bash on
behind,
the
rather.
crystal bash on the door. Open up! It's me. It's Ghost the intern. Please let me in. I'm here to help and also be saved by you opening the door. Please open the door. There's lots of birds. Open the door.
You hear some muffled voices on the inside of the door, and then you hear a shout. Groost, are you sure it's you? Why are you outside?
Because I was outside.
That stands to reason. Just don't make any loud noises. We found that attracts the birds. Best I can tell. Yeah, there were a few of them in here. They're nasty little buggers. You seen their eyes? It's like
Stop monologuing at him for the door.
well, we're fully barred from here. It's gonna take us, you know, upwards of
1.5 monologues.
18 seconds or so to do this, but we'll get that process started. Just make sure you don't make any noise and move very quietly.
For late. Groost will
Cast Thunderwave.
fear for his Groost life.
I would like to have
Groost will cast Spirit Guardians.
Oh my god.
Alright, as you begin to cast, you can see this glow lights up, and I will need all of you to roll initiatives. It appears that the birds don't really like whatever's about to happen.
Well, maybe they should have asked what Groost likes.
Well, they're about to tell you what Groose likes.
I
Is
know
it
what
birds?
Bruce
Oh
likes.
no! Oh
Da,
god!
da, da, da.
Ugh.
You know, you can probably still reason with them, but we'll see.
Oh no!
Alright. Cool. Now we will order descending.
I'm pretty sure this is what Alfred Hitchcock wanted to say.
Oh, totally.
Alright. Marcos is If any of you guys want to move Markaris or do that, you have to like do so on your turn. We'll just say like we'll treat him as a free item in an action.
For each of
Okay,
us, though,
small.
so we can all move him on our turns.
We can juggle him like.
He'll be just running around
the
nuts.
peasant railgun with him.
It's a new circus act.
All right. So Olive, you see Groose sort of start casting a spell, and you do see that the various ravens look like they all sort of kind of begin to dart and swoop down and dive in a little bit more of an aggressive way.
I will, should I hold it or should I, alright, I'm gonna hold the firebolt until they, one of them goes for Groost. One of the birds goes for Groost.
Right.
And I'm gonna stay there.
Maliath. So you're making your way downtown.
Maliath also considers about spirit guardians, but he's much more worried about the big creatures as opposed to ravens, unless these ravens have something that I just
form-
can't tell.
Mega
So-
Raven.
I'm gonna slowly move forward. I'll move about half my speed there, and I'm gonna. I guess I'll make sure that. I guess spirit guarding should be very effective. Don't forget Zahara's on your team, Bruce. And then
So
Um,
she just blended in with the ravens. I thought she was a bird.
I'm going to hold an action that if any creature who is not in my party comes adjacent to me, I shall strike it with my really, really sad mace.
Alright. The swarm's turn. The ones around you do swoop in towards you. I'm not going to give the swarms of ravens like flanking advantage because that doesn't really make sense since they're just giant swarms anyway. I will put one in your square though, just because I think that's fun. Because they're a swarm, they can do it. Medium swarm of tiny beasts. And so this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 beak attacks against you, Groose. As you just get dive bombed again, not with advantage. So 23, 22. Wow, these are freaking great birds.
Okay.
18
Yes.
and 14.
No.
And one more. 14 again. So 3
No.
hits. Here
Just
we-
entering or starting its turn there, it has to make its save in the spirit guardians.
Yes,
Hasn't
Spirit's
happened
Guardians didn't cast yet, though.
Oh, that's that makes much more sense.
Yeah. Okay, so 3 hits. 1, 2, and 3.
Ah!
As you are just absolutely inundated with these birds. Several others sort of begin to fly outwards here. Zahara, at the moment, you seem like you haven't done anything to draw in their attention. So the other ones are now just sort of like, it's just kind of like you've smacked a hornet's nest, and all the hornets have like come out there, and that will do it for their turn.
My thing gets triggered
All right.
because Bruce got attacked.
Which one are you attacking?
Let's do the one right over Groose's head.
All right. A 19 will hit for 8 points of damage. There, as you see some of the ravens just whoosh, catch on fire. And keep in mind, these are like swarms of ravens, so just sort of going through there. All right, Zahara.
Zahara! It's always the
Bruce.
birds! Why must the birds hate the goblins?
Bruce, Roost, you provoked them, and now I have to provoke them because you provoked them.
I didn't provoke anybody. It crashed into me.
Oh wow, a group of ravens is called an unkindness or a conspiracy.
They're certainly being unkind right now.
Isn't crows like a murder?
Yeah, that's the crows though.
Caspian, what's the ETA on that door?
Oh yeah, the door.
Opening the door, Caspian.
Got it. On it.
No, how long, Caspian?
All right. Well, it may be easier for us to unbar one of the windows.
I need to throw a goblin into you.
All right. Let's go for the door. I should have that open in a jiffy.
What's a jiffy, Caspian?
I don't know. About 6 seconds or so.
Okay. Okay, I guess I have to attack the birds. I will attack the birds that are on Roost.
All right.
Am I flanking the birds? No,
I mean, there's swarms of birds.
there's swarms of birds.
I'm not giving them flanking, so you don't get flanking.
Only 13.
13 will hit a massive cloud of birds.
Okay, understood. They're engaged with Roost, ergo sneak attack.
Alright, so another 20 points.
And then I am going to target, I guess, this one.
Which one? So the one that you've stabbed is dead.
Awesome. So this is going to go to that one.
The one next to you. This
One next to me.
And
Here's
what
the
is it?
damage from that. Not bad. 8 points of necrotic. As she basically swings her sword through one cloud, and then it's like these wisps of kind of ghostly energy, like it's like they come like streaming off the sword and like briefly like form these shapes of like ghostly hands kind of grasping out, and they like sweep around and like kind of behind her, and then just like start grabbing fistfuls of feathers from the other group of birds.
Olive from the back is going, she doesn't like magic. All right.
Oh, magic. I'm not casting magic. What's magic? Hold on, I am just gonna step to here.
Okay. Bruce, you are up.
I am in great pain. Great
There, there.
pain.
Look, I killed so many birds for you, Groost.
So there's so many more. Oh no. Can I change the spell I'm casting?
Yes, you're not committed to doing it, but you did
Okay.
You did say you were starting to do something. So.
Yes. I'm gonna cast Shield of Faith on myself instead. And then I will dodge.
All right, taking the dodge action. The shield of faith is a bonus action.
Correct?
All right, please indicate that on you somehow.
I will do this.
All right, and you do see finally one of the doors kind of crack open. There's sort of a displaced pile of furniture off to the side. You see Caspian in there. He's like, "Give me your hand!" There in front, and you see Undine sort of standing back a bit behind. There are a few other people in there, as well as Stumbles. It's like eyes are wide and the ears are just sort of like all up and agitated. It looks like he's about to charge the door.
Scored to death by a small earth.
You are up.
Okay.
As
Is
the door-
it fair
one of
to
the
say
doors
that
seems
I
to
would
open.
be able to see that from where I am?
You can definitely see the light. You can't see all of the things inside, but you can see the light sort of pouring out from the door, like the door has been opened.
Alright. Olive is going to grab say to Marcas, you need to run quickly and follow me. And she's gonna dash to the door.
Alright, so you do. It'll be difficult terrain if you go up that way or you go up the stairs.
Oh,
Because there's stairs to either side.
okay. So here? Or there?
Either side.
Okay. Alright.
And you
so
can move through ravens as they are
Okay.
swarms.
So I'm going to dash up here. And if I can get in the door. Sorry, I
Well,
can't
how
really
much
tell where
movement?
the door is.
So
I have 60 feet because I'm dashing.
So that would put you sort of on the stairs.
Alright.
Right? Because you started
here?
here, right? So 50.
Yeah.
You can't unfortunately go up diagonal. Or if you want to let you make an athletics check to see if you can do that. But if you fail, you're here a little bit further back.
Well, it's not going to be good for me. Alright. So I'll be there. So that's my dash.
Okay.
I dashed. And
So wait, hold on. I'm just gonna follow you.
yeah.
She's moved 5, 10.
I don't think I have any bonusy things I can do.
Alright.
Yeah. No, I mean, my bonus action is I can create a tiny quill. But that's about it. I'm not going to really... yeah.
Marcos, you very quickly realize is not quite as fast as you.
Yeah.
Goliath, you are muted and up next.
You have a tiny halfling right behind you.
Good, good. All those sarcastic remarks were unheard. Crap. Okay. Well, it looks like Groost got beat to ever-living. That's not good. I'll heal him in a second. I believe my class feature allows me to heal as well. 1 second.
Stones
My
and
action
barrels.
is a... No, not my racial ability.
Oh, you got it.
My class feature. Stone's Endurance is actually technically a reaction. I can restore... Oh, it's an action. It's still an action. Shite. Well, that's fair enough. I'm going to cast Shield of Faith as well on myself. And I will use my standard action to use my feature. I thought I saw you leave.
No. My cat just knocked something over.
Which can heal up to 25 points of damage. But they have to be within 30 feet of me. Is Groost within my sight?
Yes, for sure. 25 feet and within sight.
Perfect. Groost, enjoy. 25 or the number that gets you closest to max.
25 or the number that gets me closest to max.
Well, I can divide hit points, so no, actually, I can divide hit points now. Is anyone else damaged at all?
This raven swarm has taken some damage, but cannot,
Excellent.
cannot regain hit points.
I will.
No,
Oh.
I'm good.
I was gonna help it. Sorry, Groost, you get all 25, regardless of where that puts you.
34 to 35.
I say Scorius makes you endure, and then I look at my mace and I realize that swarms are likely not to care about physical damage as much. But I've taken both my action and my move. I will stay here. Hopefully, try to be. I'm gonna bang on my shield a bit, try to get that attention away from those who are running toward the door.
All right. Anything else?
That's it.
All right. Swarms are Raven's turns, and as you begin banging on your shield, you do
But it's got rhythm. I mean, it's like one of those.
attract some
Drum and bass.
attention.
Oh no, is this how Malias goes down?
All right. So this is going to be
Nah, I'm good.
5 beak attacks against you.
AC would never kill a character of mine.
Again, 16. There's 5 of these. I'll roll 15, 7, and 14.
Wow, crazy when they don't roll 45s each.
So I don't think any of those hit you, probably not.
They do not.
Right.
I've weathered the storm.
You bang on your shield and then it just like all of these ravens just start slamming into
I
it.
just try to match the rhythm of them bouncing off my shield with my bangs.
And it's a bit of surprising amount of force. And as they pound in, you look down and there's like a halfling just standing like between your legs, just like behind your shield, going like this. As it looks like Marcos is there. Groost, you are going to get harried by 3 of these swarms coming at you. 1, 2,
Disadvantage?
3. Why do they have disadvantage?
Because I'm dodging.
So 14, 6, and a 20. Not
20 will hit.
8 more points of piercing damage from this one.
How did that keep hitting me?
And one that you hit, Sahara, is going to attack you with a 19.
Understandable. A 19 will hit me.
Alright. And that is 4 points of piercing damage.
Reaction, uncanny dodge.
Alright.
2 points of piercing damage.
Alright. And that will do it for them. Zahara, you do see one of the double doors is open. And it looks like the ravens have descended upon Goliath back behind you.
Alright. Attacking the one in front of me. Short sword.
22 will hit.
Sneak attack due to Groost.
Counted for.
And then offhand short sword as a bonus action.
That fortunately does not contact any.
Okie dokie. This is my turn.
Have thinned that one down a bit. Bruce, you are up. There is a doorway open in front of you with Caspian there extending his hand heroically towards you. Just like a little bit too high though, it's kind of out of your reach.
So are these within 5 feet of me, right?
Everything within 5 feet of you is within 5 feet of you.
Okay. Just, well, they could be like way up in the air, right? Like, I don't know.
They're all swarming at about your level.
Okay. Groost
I'll
will
just attacked you.
Groost will use his word of radiance.
Alright. Utter a divine word.
Does that get more damage at 5th level?
It might.
Cantrip progressions.
Probably does.
Is this a con save? So I need 4.
Let me double
con
check.
saves.
Word of radiance.
I will start at the top left, work my way around. DC 14.
It is
1,
2d6. I will change this
3,
after. Hold on.
4. So
1 point of damage. Improvement.
So this one takes 6. That one takes none. This one takes 6. And this one takes 6 as well.
And then Groost will use his nimble escape to avoid any Halgene attacks and jump into Caspian's waiting heroic arms.
Hey there, little guy. Goliath, since you have such a high passive perception, you've noticed that with this burst of radiant energy, the one that was perched on the top has and is now dive bombing in your direction.
I didn't burst in radiant energy.
Yeah.
What the hell?
I mean, it can't fly directly down to there. So, I mean, in your direction is like the direction of everybody, right?
The group, right. I will respond out of turn with my brief words. Incoming!
Okay.
I will
Oh.
that enter the fray. I'm gonna roll an initiative for it, so we'll see where it goes. But we're at the top of the order anyway, so.
Okay.
Its turn is like dive bombing into its position anyway, so.
Okay. So there's these windows are windows I could see out of, like.
The window, all the windows on the front were windows at one point, but they look like they've all been smashed in. You can see sort of blood and feathers sort of coated the broken glass. It looks like the birds have like smashed through them, and it looks, probably you're assuming that there are tables and things like up against them now, and it's all barricaded.
Right.
Of Baroness Lindsay's living circus. The other windows around haven't been smashed. It doesn't appear.
Okay. I am trying to, this is what I'm trying to figure out. Is there somewhere that I could get inside but like have access to like either like a door or window that I could like, you know, peek out of, cast and come back in a little bit?
Hard to tell from outside. I mean, there's plenty of windows on the outside of this building.
Right.
You could go in and, you know, remove some of the obstruction to give yourself
Right.
a peek out.
But I guess
if you can shoot out, there's also a possibility that ravens can get in.
That's true. That's true. All right. Okay. I'm used to being so far away. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna start by firebolting the one above me.
Alright. You shoot it into the collection of them, and they all just sort of swerve around it.
Yeah,
So it
okay.
goes up into the night sky.
All right.
Whizzes past the one that you now look up and see much larger dive bombing down in your direction.
Okay.
You miss a whole swarm.
All right. Is this something I could hide, like, kind of, like, hide under?
There's a small
not
cart and some
hide.
stuff there. You could probably crouch
Like,
down
just-
behind it if you would like.
Right. I think I'm gonna go do that. I know I'm not taking the hide action. I'm just kind of, you know,
Sheltering.
trying to get some
It
something
will
to duck
potentially
underneath.
give you cover against ranged attacks.
Yeah. So that's what I'm trying to do. There's like the square I'm in is either like there, like
Yeah,
I
you
want to
can-
be
whichever
in the
one
middle.
you can-
Okay, that one's is where I want to be. And that's what I do.
Now the halfling had already been moving on Olive's turn. Does the halfling continue?
The halfling only moves as directed. So if somebody chooses to direct the halfling to do something, it'll do it sort of as a reaction. So just think of it as it has taken the ready to action to follow whatever orders are given to it.
Right.
That's how we'll sort of use that. So right now it's just cowering sort of behind you. As it was told to run to the door, and then this happened. Life, you're up.
Okay. Get inside.
Alright, don't have to tell me twice.
This is the second time. Maliath will take the dodge action and continue to beat loudly on his shield.
Alright. The halfling does manage to get inside. Birds seem much more enamored by you than chasing him.
And standard action is dodge. I got nothing else. I'm good.
Alright. as the Raven's turn. As the door is open, this Raven is going to go inside the building there. This one is also going to fly inside the building. This one is going to fly inside the building.
Get outside!
At which point you do see Caspian just slams the door shut back behind. There, Zahara, I would say at least one of these will provoke from you if you choose.
I have already used my reaction.
Alright, well, unfortunately.
Oh, no, wait.
To half the damage, yeah.
But I halved it last time because they attacked me on their last turn, which means that I've had a turn since then, thus regaining my reaction because I'm after them on the initiative order.
Yep.
So they attacked me, I reacted, then I regained my reaction, and now we're here again.
Did you get
I am going
skipped
to
last time?
No, I took actions on my turn.
Okay.
Pay attention to my.
I didn't take any reactions yet.
Alright, are you going to make an opportunity attack?
I am going to make an opportunity attack.
Are you gonna hit my monster?
I'm gonna try.
Alright.
I'm
You
gonna
are going to
fail.
fail. Alright, so the ravens swarm in, and they basically followed the halfling in. So first ones are going to make an attack against the halfling.
Goodbye, Mercos. It was a nice quest that you gave us.
Marcos, we barely knew ya.
So that is 8 points.
It's
Other one doesn't kill him yet. Another one is going to attack him.
well, I mean, there's
No.
not a healer in there, so.
Oh
10
God!
does not actually hit him. And
Humanity.
one more. The tank that we deserve. 14 will hit him, unfortunately.
Oh God!
And Marcos is just shredded by the birds. And you can see as he kind of like runs in, he turns up to look at you, Groose, and sort of like starts to let out a sigh, and then a bird just like flies in and like embeds itself in his neck and just starts like flapping as like the blood starts spurting out, and he kind of like pulls it out and then falls.
Oh,
bleeding
God.
out on the ground.
Oh.
I'm the extent to which you could tell that Casey got Van Richten's and was like, hell yeah.
Alright. I didn't actually get it though. That's the problem. Alright, so halfling is safe inside. The door now has been closed. Caspian is out and has drawn his sword. Groose looking around in here. You can see that there are, I guess I'll put the other, I'll put, just to sort of show you who else is in here. Actually, no. So Ondine is in here, and then there's a woman and an older man in here. So it seems like there are 4 people in here, aside from you and the now dead halfling. Oh, and an elephant.
The dead halfling and an elephant.
And an elephant. All right, Zahara, you are up. The door is closed. Goliath is swarmed.
Okay, so
I'm
the
gonna
door is
move-
closed.
I'm gonna move this. This guy's like swooping down. I'm just gonna move him out of the clutter of the inside the house box.
Okay, well, the door is closed, so I can't really do anything to help them because the door has been slammed in my face.
How rude.
So I guess I will go 5, 10. Where is down? Is down here?
Any direction you go, left, right, or down is down. And you can hop. You can hop down from there. It's only like a
15
6-foot hop or something.
and short sword.
19 will hit.
Sneak attack due to Goliath.
Alright. 17. Yeah, just 8.
And offhand,
13 will hit.
13. Another 4.
2 more.
And that'll do it for me.
Alright. Bruce, you are inside, and you just basically watched someone your height be killed in a fairly gruesome way.
So is he dead? How? What? Okay. He's either dead, in which case nothing I can do, or he's taking death saves, in which I don't need to do anything now. So I'm gonna Spirit Guardians. So Shield of Faith is gone. Spirit Guardians is up.
Oh yeah, I should mark my shield of faith as well as the concentration.
Stumbles obviously will not be damaged by this. Nor will the rest, I guess, but stumbles mostly. Anything else will be affected. Other than that, nothing else from me.
Alright, Spirit Guardians. Can you link it?
Yes, I can link it.
And then you. So that's 20 feet, I believe?
15 feet.
15 feet. See it? Okay. That'll just remind me that it's on. But that doesn't happen until their turn.
So their turn.
Don't go up there. I know you're up there. I can hear you. Actually, I'm gonna close my toolbar.
Goodbye.
Or he has
Thank you
committed
all for
cat
joining
crimes.
us for this.
So there's a squeak of no, don't throw.
What are the cat crimes?
Yeah.
I think probably being on the Warhammer table.
Oh.
Alright. Flying Horror's turn. Is this blocked by structures, Spirit Guardians, or no?
Remember,
Hold on.
there's always line not line of effect. What's it called? Clear path to target.
Yeah. I will say that it won't affect this thing swooping down in from upwards, which will come down towards you, Zahara.
Is it radiant damage or is it necrotic?
Grush has yet to say.
I know.
And as it is coming in,
it might make a difference with these things, that's all.
it is going to
Gonna be necrotic. It's Grush.
let out this blood-curdling screech. So it's going to use Frightening Screech. Each creature within 30 feet of it, which is going to be Olive, Zahara, and Maliath. So I need Wisdom saving throws.
And all of the creatures.
They appear to not be affected by this.
That's some BS.
They're dead.
Actually, wait. Each creature that can hear it. So hold on. Because you will all.
That's everybody.
I'm so glad that none of my
Whoa, whoa.
rogues
Whoa.
can save on or
The
succeed on
halfling
wisdom saving
cannot
throws.
hear it.
Halfling cannot hear it. Alright, so. Crew still need. Alright.
You said wisdom saving throw. Here's how
So I need Caspian. Wisdom is his strong point. Done.
That feels right.
Caspian shits himself.
That is on brand for Caspian.
Alright.
Love that boy.
And let me do some other rolls in the secret.
Come on,
here.
Stumbles.
Stumbles is a not in secret roll. Stumbles never forgets.
Eloise needs to roll.
Stumbles is not
Let's
intimidated
go.
by anything.
Stumbles will kill this flying horror if given the chance.
Did you turn off
God,
3D dice or do I need to
I
read that?
love Stumbles.
Mine just rolled, so I think it's
3D dice is on your end, not on anybody else's end.
Alright.
No, that's not true. If you disable your 3D dice, it won't show on mine.
I don't think that's true.
That is definitely. but
I have it enabled.
I'm refreshing now.
Okay. So that comes in. It has screeched. So You are frightened for 1 minute. The frightened creature can repeat saving throw at the end of each of its turns, ending the effect on success. If a creature saving throw is successful, blah blah blah, it can't be frightened again. Cool. So that is its turn, as it's just now finishing its dive bomb in towards you. Olive, you are up as this weird bat insect-like thing is now looking about to gnash into Sahara.
All right. In that case, let's do Tasha's mind whip at it. So it needs to take a intelligence 15 save or intelligence save. That was a terrible damage roll. Okay.
So fail, so 8 points of psychic damage.
And it can, on its next turn, it only
only will take the attack action.
Yeah. I don't know what else it has. Could have reduced something. I don't know. And then I'm gonna duck behind the cart again.
Tasha's gotten a little darker since the laughing spell.
Okay. Alright. Caspian is going to make a two-handed longsword attack against the swarm to his south. That will hit it. And he knocks the last ones out of existence there. That one is gone. And he's... Oh, but that's... Yeah, he still has a disadvantage. And he's going to step here and take a swing at the other one. There. And he swings down... through and misses, and he lops off the halfling's head as his sword gets stuck in the ground. The halfling was making death saves, but is no longer making death saves.
God.
Double ones with disadvantage deserve something epic. So it literally just like hacks off the other like sword stuck in the ground, and he's just like.
Oh my God.
Alright. Goliath, you are up. Alright.
Goliath is nothing but glad that the door is closed and that that he can't see any of this.
There will start to be blood running out the door soon.
Goliath will again take the dodge action as to allow Olive and Sahara free reign on raining attacks on these. Hopefully, that's the idea at least.
Right.
I know I don't have a taunt ability, but I will continue to make noise with the shield. I will take the dodge action. As a bonus action, I have a few options, but none of which are... Oh, I guess I could... Spiritual weapon. That's not a... I might as well. Spiritual weapon.
Alright.
Here's the spell. It's second level. Spiritual weapon. There's the cast.
What is it attacking? Cast?
It's gonna be attacking this new intruder. As so far my defenses are holding it up against the ravens.
Okay. You have a token, I think, right?
Possibly. I haven't looked.
Yep.
Jukebox.
That was it, right? Spiritual
Yes, I have it. Yes, and you have it as well. Same. A little faster. Dang it! All right.
Okay, so that is the attack
I'll place
against
it here.
the horror. 23 will hit for 10 points of force damage, and does find purchase. Cool.
It's amazing. It's not a concentration. It's amazing.
That's such a good thing.
So
All right.
it's so actually kind of more efficient. That's it.
swarm of ravens. So to their.
Da 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 da.
So we'll start with it's a what save against?
Wisdom save.
Wisdom
Here, I'll
save
roll
against.
some damage.
All right, so this is just 2 of them, I think. 1, 2.
Gonna drop everything I touch.
12 and a 4. There's only 2 of them left.
4 and a 3.
12 and a 4, but
3 and 2.
all phase.
4 and a 3.
12 and a 4.
You-
What's the
what?
damage?
Caspian's wisdom save.
Oh no, 4 and a 3. Never mind.
4 and a 3.
I mean, they all fail. 2 fail regardless. So.
Yeah.
Caspian is the enemy
Great.
after what he just did.
Awesome. Amazing damage.
Okay. It's a damage type that is fully applied. So. All
I think
right.
in,
So.
Boston, they may call that garbage.
Garbage.
The ravens, flying sort of about the room crazily, are going to come back in and attack at you because you have all sorts of radiant things going. So this will be 2 attacks against you. Are you dodging?
Are they radiant though?
Can't be
You have, no,
dodging
i-
and cast
you have
skirt
no idea how to possibly tell this.
I don't
You-
need to know, but in
You
terms
don't
of-
even know what's going on.
Okay, in terms of they reacted to radiant stuff. That's all.
Right, 15
You're
and,
metagaming. You're a metagaming raven right now.
15 and 16 against you, Groost.
Neither hit.
Okay. Pecking away, and then we have 5 attacks at disadvantage against Moliah, as it appears. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright. 1, 2, 3,
My
4,
AC
5.
is effectively a 21, so
Alright, so
even the
nothing
20 and 24 misses.
Alright.
Or that-
24 wouldn't have missed. But,
Yeah,
so no hits
set.
there, as it's just like the sound of rain on a hot tin roof, except it's beaks of ravens on hot, not tin armor. Going through there. Stumbles is going to charge over the body of the halfling.
Oh,
Crushing the
Crushing.
skull.
Crushing the chest cavity in, and is going to attack the
Unbelievable.
raven over here.
We've only been protecting him for like a half hour.
I think protecting is perhaps a little bit of a generous description for what's going on here.
Alright, Stumbles does manage to hit them for 11 points of
27?
Uh,
27?
and this will hit one of them. It is halved, though, unfortunately, so doesn't do that, but Stumbles is got some fight left in him. Alright, Zahara, you are up as this
Okay.
horror creature is behind you.
It sure is. Oh, why does my shoulder hurt?
It's from
I am going to
complaining.
take. Thank you.
There's a complaining gland right there.
I'm going to take a short sword attack at disadvantage at the horror.
A horror.
Horror. Oh yeah.
Oh.
I feel like we've been rolling a disproportionate number of ones here.
So you lop off Maliah's head.
Yeah. Swing and a most definite miss. I would like you to make a dexterity check, please.
Straight dex.
Straight dex. Right, and you make the DC, so the rain making your sword a bit slippery, you go to stab, you feel it slide out, and you manage to like kind of catch the pommel, and you readjust your grip.
Okie dokie. Offhand. I don't doubt 11 is going to do it.
The horror, unfortunately, you kind of catch part of its carapace-like body, and it doesn't do too much.
Okie dokie. Wisdom saving throw at the end of my turn.
DC is 13.
Wisdom. Nope.
Excellent. The horror looks very happy that you're still scared.
Okay.
Alright, Groost, you are up, unless there's any movement from Zahara.
Nope.
Okay. Bruce will wince and look down at the now dead halfling. And then Groost will Word of Radiance again.
Alright. That's con saves, I believe.
Correct.
A 9 and a 10. 5 points is enough to remove that one, and not enough to remove that one, unfortunately. But only a few birds remain after another burst of radiance. Inside, you all see this kind of like faint glow in the windows. Just
Did you roll the extra damage, or has it fixed? It's fixed.
Text.
It's just garbage again.
just
Garbage.
awful damage. Alright. Anything else, Groost?
Nothing else.
Alright. Flying Horror. Flying Horror is going to be using its Fear Frenzy ability on you, Zahara. So advantage. Don't you automatically have advantage on... Oh wait, no, the frightened creature has disadvantage. And it is going to make 4 claw attacks against you. As it has 4 arms. Coming at you. 1, 2... 3... and 4. Alright, so all 4 hit.
Jesus Christ!
So we will have 1. So that is 9 points of damage. 2. Another 11, so that's 20 total so
Gonna-
far.
Uncanny dodge that one.
Okay.
Just wait for this one.
I'll just roll them all. You can figure out. Alright. And each time they pierce in, you hear that like screeching noise as it's like just vibrating and piercing into your skull.
Hold on. So it was
So yeah, you can pick whatever the highest one is. So it's whatever the total is minus 5. No, minus 5 because 11 is the highest of those. For you to uncanny dodge. So it's 9, 20, 31, 39, 41 minus 5 is 36 total.
I'm still down. But when am I down? Is an important question.
So just
It's-
go in
it's-
order of
it's
the
the-
attack, the damage.
It's the you would be
The first
you would
damage
still
does
be up
9.
by the last.
I would still be up by the last one. Okay.
Yeah. So there's no fail death saves. Because you uncanny dodged the second one. So as it just like pecking through. Advantage is a wonderful thing. As that, and can you roll me a d6, please, Zahara? Just to see if its screech recharges. I don't need to, but and it is going to swoop in over you, Maliath. I'd put it just sort of above, flapping its wings, but
No problem.
that's close enough. That'll do it for its turn. All of you are up as you watch Zahara just get mauled by this, as all she can do is kind of cower.
Okay, so I'm going to let's do Scorching Ray at third level, so I get 4 rays
Alright.
at the horror.
Fire away. 12 is a miss. So this is... Miss, hit, miss... Wait. 2 hits. 2 hits. So
Two
the
hits, okay.
16 and the 20 hit, so that's 10 points
10
of
points.
fire damage.
Fire damage, yep.
Wait, it only does 10 points of damage. scorching ray is 2d6.
Yeah.
But you're higher level casting it? Is
Higher level
Um,
casting just gives more rays. I think.
Yeah, it
Oh,
doesn't.
okay.
It doesn't
Um,
upcast the, which
So
is very
10
unfortunate.
points of damage. Okay.
Great.
Seems
Great.
seems effective. This thing, wings get blown through as these shards of fire go up at it. I mean, it doesn't look like it's the hardest of creatures. Very vicious, but you get the sense from its more straggly frame that it's not the highest kind of constitution of characters. So it is looking pretty ragged right now.
Okay. She ducks back down.
All right. Caspian will dislodge his sword from the ground and run over. As
Wipe it off.
he is going to stab at the ravens.
At this point, just stab at Bruce.
All right. That will not hit. And one more. That will hit. And 9 points of slashing is enough to get rid of that, clearing out the last of the ravens. And you can tell looking at him, Groost, Caspian has not had a great day. He is shredded and covered in lots of little cuts all over. Definitely not a full health Caspian. We'll save against fear, which he will fail. Alright, Moliath, you are the center of attention as you desired to be.
I did. I didn't expect things to go the way they have, but I am where I wanted to be. And everything is within a nice spirit guardian's range. I'm going to drop my concentration and go with spirit guardians, just like Bruce.
Alright.
Or did that door open at all? No, it's still
Door
closed,
is
right?
not yet open.
Yeah. Then I'm gonna do the spirit guardians, just like Bruce.
Here comes the Venn diagram of death.
I don't know why it rolled the damage because I don't believe it's right now. Call for spirit potential. And affected creatures' speed is half, so they all move slower. I
This
will, of
happens
course.
on their turn, right?
Yes. So when a creature enters the area for the first time on the turn, or if it starts its turn there, it makes a wisdom saving throw. It's quite possible to do it twice in the turn if you leave and come back. It's awesome. And also, I can designate any number of creatures I see to be unaffected. So I see Zahar and I see Olive. I'm going to choose them as being unaffected. I will also use my. I don't actually think it's a bonus action. Never mind, I cannot. Rats. That's where I'm at, so I'm just kind of hope this is going to take care of things.
Alright, Swarm of Ravens. Here we go with wisdom saves. 1, 2, 3, 4. So looks like one success and failures. We'll just use the 20 here.
Perfect.
Alright, so
It's radiant for me because,
and it's half if they succeed.
and on successful save, the creature takes half as much.
Okay, nice. And this appears to be very effective at thinning them out. So it's gone.
Like, just like
that
a-
was my initiative one.
Of feathers.
But did anyone know where they were on the initiative? I have the memory of Swiss cheese.
I think they were right before me.
No, they were going because this is the start of their turn. So this is their turn.
Right before
Does anyone
Snuffles.
know? Now. Oh yeah,
minus
yeah, that makes
20.
sense.
20 is a pretty beastly roll here. Minus 20.
On D8s, yeah, for a max of 24, that's
And
amazing roll. 2
flying
6s and an 8.
for, what is this, wisdom?
Yes. It was
Alright, 7. And as this sort of burst out from you, what form are your spirit guardians?
The spirits flit about you. They look like far away projections of like giants. So while actually, since it's a large enough area, it might be like one or two giants, maybe three, milling about in a circle.
Alright, so you see these large sort of spectral giant forms, and as they come out, one just
Stone
like
giants.
grabs the horror that's floating down by the wing, and the other one just sort of like palms its face, and they just rip it apart, as it seems like whatever effect this is incredibly potent against these horror creatures, as it's just absolutely eviscerated, to the point where it's just like torn to so many pieces that there's no like carcass or anything from it. And that is dead.
4 of the birds are still here.
4 are still there, but very, very thinned out.
No worries at all. They'll have the rest of their turn to attack me if they want.
Alright. And so that's 1, 2, 3, 4 attacks against you.
They do not have disadvantage.
Tiny bird forms now. 2, 3. Man.
Jeez, they're mad.
Alright.
They are. I only have a 19, so 3 of them hit.
3 hits. Alright, so first one hits. 2 points of piercing. 4 points. And then 2
6?
points.
Oh.
So that is 3 concentration checks. If you have
I
any
will roll
concentration things
those.
going.
And do I have the feat I often take? Can't remember.
Warcaster.
I do not. Okay. So I will roll my concentration checks, which is what? Just con?
Yes. DC 10 con checks. Good. And the Spirit Guardians drops.
It does.
But it
It did what it needed
what
to
it
do.
needed to for the most part. So, all right.
Cheers. Oh, never mind.
Zahara, you are up.
I will make a death saving throw.
Get rid of my aura, Casey.
I will fail a death saving throw.
Don't worry, I have a spiritual weapon next to it. I can end it next turn.
Thank you.
Alright,
I
Griff,
really
you're
appreciate
up.
that.
There's currently door behind you is closed. There's currently nothing of danger left inside.
Aside from Caspian.
There's things kind of milling about.
Oh, it was still 8 damage. I didn't know. Let me apply that.
Bruce will turn to Caspian. Stay inside. And Bruce will pull open the door. Go to take a step. Oh, Zahara. Wait, Bruce doesn't see Zahara. Because Zahara's prone here.
Yep. Unfortunate for me.
No, Bruce would do this instead. Because these birds are thick. What do you say?
There's no reason to worry about that because Maliath goes before Zahara and will Maliath it.
Yeah, but I was gonna walk over and auto attack her too. But no, Bruce will be magic missiling
Zahara. That should
Zahara.
do it.
It will, yeah.
We're just gonna magic missile this flock of birds here.
Alright, all of them on that one?
Yep.
Alright, and how many total?
However many the default is, which is 3.
3. Alright. Do you want to choose a secondary target? So there's 2 of them.
Sure. To the left.
Alright, so the last straggling birds from that one go, and then slams in and takes out a few more on that. Only 3 of these swarms remaining. Anything else? The door is open. You see most of what was out here gone. There are still, like, plenty of birds up above you, but for the moment, none of them have started descending.
No. Bruce will remain here for now.
Olive.
Olive is going to saw that magic missile come up and is going to They all took pretty big hits, correct? Or no?
Yeah, the giants from Goliath tore through everything pretty.
All right. So then I'm gonna do one at each.
All right.
And so before, when you saw the magic missile go out, it looked like meat tenderizers, but now you see on those meat tenderizers
Spoons.
no, there's little frogs writing on them. Because remember, in her book, there was an anatomical drawing of a frog, and now it seems to, as they fly out, she's like, "Oh no!" And they fly out these little frogs going ah, and go out on the meat tenderizers and hit the ravens.
The battle toads fly out.
Yeah.
And mark away. Only a little bit of that last swarm remaining, and that one looks like it is sort of dissipating and flying back up into the storm itself. We will stay in rounds, but there are no more combatants. We'll just say this one is up and away. Anything else?
No.
Caspian's there. Goliath.
Goliath will take a... Oh, that one left?
Yeah, there's only like a couple birds left. So.
Okay. Well, then Goliath will step down and not use his bonus action to attack that. But I will, of course, use my Cure Wounds on Zahara. So enjoy this. 9 points of healing. And I will suggest that we all head toward the inside, but Goliath will not move further and will continue to beat on his shield in case there's another wave coming. And I want to make sure the injured are in first.
You get the sense as you start beating on your shield that you are definitely attracting another wave.
Okay.
That may or may not have been attracted
moved.
previously. So you get the
There's
sense
no way to
that,
tell. I assume
right, so
you said there's
everybody else-
a tornado funnel
Yeah.
of birds. It's not like they're not going to come.
Yeah. So we can be out of rounds for a moment here. People would like to go inside, stay outside.
I would like to be
Outside.
inside.
Wait. Wisdom saves, please.
As you are all killed by spirit dragons.
Not. Groose didn't drop this, to be clear, and Groose didn't see you when he cast it, and the wording.
This is gonna put
We're
me back
out of
down.
rounds and you see us walking in. Are you going to maintain concentration? That's
well,
on you.
Yeah, if you give Groose a moment to stop you before you speed racer your way into the building, Groose will say, "Wait, let me come out. Stay back."
Casey, we're okay to let Bruce by in enough, give him enough space to be outside.
You can
Yes.
certainly go outside.
That's fine, Bruce. It's on you. You don't have to be outside. Just drop that silliness.
All right.
I'm gonna go in.
I don't know if more are coming.
All right. And as you come out glowing like a beacon of radiant energy, more start to descend towards you. You get the sense that make a perception check, please. It does seem like you are attracting attention. As in, like moths to a flame, they are going to be drawn towards you.
Are they? Hold on.
You have 6 seconds, and there will be more of them coming.
So they're 100% coming.
Packs of ravens are coming down.
Then Groose will just spawn and go inside.
Okay. Dropping it and then running inside, and then what are you all doing in terms of doors and such.
Now we'll re-bar the door.
Alright. And as you
Wait, what happened to the halfling?
Oh no! Ah!
as you
Ah.
close the door, there's already like you're starting to hear like patter of raven bodies slamming against it. One of them sort of manages to squeak in and quickly is grabbed by Stumbles. Sort of strangles it with a trunk, and goes off and sort of sits down on that little like pedestal stool in the center of the ring. As you get the sense that you were able to weather a wave, but there's likely more out there, and you look around and everyone is just sort of like looking back and forth at everyone else, and Caspian's just sort of like. And that's where we will take our break for the moment. We will be back in 5 minutes to get your ice cream, smash your halflings, and come on back. Good evening. Welcome back to the last page, the show where I have to constantly look at the title on the splash screen because I don't remember what I called it. We're waiting for Timur to come back. He had a bit of a culinary upset, and we're hoping that will resolve itself very quickly. So, till then, Beth has volunteered to do an Ask Me Anything. So fire your questions for Beth away in chat.
You trying to be posh English or Portuguese? Culinary is not something that any human being has ever said.
Well, crap.
And Timur has returned.
I have. Accidentally.
Welcome back.
Well, things happen.
Are you good?
Well, my food was clearly a little spoiled as I was like, so I had to make new food. Sorry.
No worries. These things happen. All right. So we will get back at it. Beth dodged another Ask Me Anything, but if you subscribe to our Patreon, you can ask her something. Cool.
We do not guarantee that she will answer.
Sure.
But you can ask.
Some part of the title.
Actually, you can't ask. You have to pay to ask. But
Okay.
so, you've weathered the storm of ravens and made it inside, one by one, coming to the very horrific sudden realization that where once was a halfling under your party's protection is now a quarterling, or 2 quarterlings.
Oh. 1/8.
Not, well, maybe still under your protection, but at any rate, very much more dead than they were before.
Can I check to see if the potion is intact that he made?
Yes, going through, you do see that the orange glowing potion is in a nice little wooden box. Appears to be undamaged, unscathed. You take it out, sort of glows a little bit of a warm light. You can see the various other people in the room all sort of like look strangely perplexed at you. Undine just sort of...
Does anyone have any diamonds? I can save this thing with halfling's
This
life.
thing.
I meant halfling, but I said thing.
Well, I don't have any diamonds. There might be some somewhere.
Well, I need it in the next 30 seconds. Or whatever, however long it's been.
Well, I mean, shit
Well.
happens, I guess.
I
Was
take
this,
the potion and just calmly put it in my bag.
As you root through his stuff, no diamonds.
Is,
Oh, Caspian, we are newly retired. Again.
you guys had work? What were you doing?
Protecting him. You're protecting the guy that you killed.
Yeah.
No, he was already dead. I saw it. The raven.
you did
just-
this.
It was the
No.
birds.
No, you.
No,
The birds had swords.
what I did was an
Because
act
I
of...
can see this is clearly a clean cut.
This,
I
It
was
appears
gonna-
to have been made by a bladed
may
weapon.
not
I was
called
gonna
an
heal
act
him.
of mercy.
I was gonna heal
I
him.
mean, I watched it. You looked right at him, and then
I was gonna
and
heal
then
him.
you,
You cut his head off.
did something else. They all saw it. It was an act of mercy. I mean, I'm not happy it had to happen, but so what? All these birds. There's a lot of birds outside. We were kind of harried out of the marketplace and here, and they appear to be taking a liking to something. Something
How's-
in here.
How's Undine looking?
no whiter or more perplexed than she normally is. Her usual somewhat stoic self. She's now sort of sat down at one of the booths there, just sort of off to the side, looking over back at all of you.
You okay?
It has been a long day. I fear it's only the afternoon.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. I'm just trying to think back. Shabby said she severed her tie with Undine, right? She took her memories out. So does Undine, does her demeanor still seem this? Does she seem a little more present, or is she still just kind of? Has she just always kind of been a vessel?
Make an insight check if you would like to try to discern this.
Okay.
So not really.
That's a
there
6.
hasn't been too much interaction. At sort of cursory glance, hasn't changed all that much, but
Okay. Okay. Well, I just kind of like pat her on the head, not like super like grandmotherly and loving, just kind of like, okay. And then I go back to try to convene with everybody else.
Olive, can you use your magics to help clean up the entire area? It's full of bird carcass and halfling carcass.
I seem to have blood on my boots.
it is quite a mess in here. I would very much appreciate that.
What's that?
That's the man sort of over in the sort of not stepping out of the shadows, but has been sort of recessed away from all of this action. Stately looking gentleman, sort of refined brushing of gray streaks through his hair, very well trimmed beard, dressed in this crisp tan overcoat, sort of a golden color of sun-drenched sand, with a orange ascot sort of tucked up behind the collar of his vest, wearing earthen gray sort of high-waisted pants. There's several pouches and cylindrical cases hanging from his belt, very neatly arranged. Just sort of surveys everything. Yes, indeed, it is quite a bit unsightly, at least from a morale point of view. I'm glad you're, well, some of you are right. Do you know what's the cause of any of this? You seem fairly capable.
Goliath just looks at Undine. Nope. No, I do not.
With a potential friend spotted, Groose straightens his pantaloons, walks over and extends a hand. Hi, I'm Ghost. I'm a friend of Stumbos.
It's the elephant.
The elephant. Interesting.
Yeah.
Namaka sort of kneels, squats down and extends his hand and shakes her hand. My name is Dew.
One more time.
I hiccup at the moment you
Perhaps,
said
perhaps, perhaps over text.
Can you text me your name?
Every NPC, here's this piece of parchment. Can you write your name for me, please?
Issy, how do you pronounce that?
Dew.
Do.
My name is Dew Ital.
He plays music on YouTube. Just remember.
Can you run that one past me one more time?
Do. Do.
It's not nearly as complicated as any of you think it is.
No, it's the full name.
So, what brings you by the circus?
Well, I wasn't here to go to the circus, but this is where we found shelter amidst the storm. I was in the marketplace with these other folks, and
Begin casting a prayer of healing ritual.
doesn't seem, none of the people react in any sort of awe or anything like that. So you can tell that these people have at least seen magic and don't appear to be put off overly by it. I was in town for work.
It's not a ritual picking stuff.
I'm a curator.
Oh. From where?
West of here. I work at the library, as it's known around in these parts.
Which one?
The one that resides in the center of the desert.
Oh. So why are you here?
Work has brought me here. There was actually two interesting items, both linked to this town, that were headed their way to the library and were lost in transit. So I'm attempting to find them.
What were they?
Both books of kinds.
So define book.
But the book is
'Cause I feel-
bound.
No, I understand, but like, there's like books about trees, books about hungry caterpillars.
Books of magical nature.
Right. And was the book of a magical nature perhaps a spell book? And you know, if it was going to be transported, I would choose the tabaxi personally. Did you choose the tabaxi?
You clearly know quite a bit about this. Do you have any other information you can share about the whereabouts? There may be a reward in it.
I know nothing, but I would be very interested in hearing about the reward before I make up my mind about anything else.
Please make a deception roll. He just sort of nods. Well, they were being procured for a fairly large price. One was to complete a collection, of which we have quite a few others, and was lost early in transit. The sellers were a bit unscrupulous in their methods, but have proven reliable in the past, though there's the possibility that there was some deception along the way. The other was packaged and ready to go, so I am told, but when it arrives, clearly the item was switched out with something much more mundane. So here I am, and then shortly after, upon arrival, whatever this storm is, beset. So we'll have to wait it out.
How long do bird storms usually last?
This is my first.
Oh. You got any hobbies?
I like to read.
That makes sense.
Olive listens to this and kind of like drapes her cloak over, like, you know, her book holster or whatnot, and is thinking back to what Cosima told her about the brotherhood that runs the library, and kind of making like the connections between this man and the brotherhood. Does that kind of track?
It seems that he may
Of
be a
evil
member.
mutants.
And that she was taken to the library. Okay. is there anyone else here that's looking kind of either like cagey or is more nervous than would be during a raven storm?
Your entire party.
So you do see after Bruce sort of has this conversation with Du, he sort of steps back, and there is he sort of just from the table behind him where he was sitting, sort of recollects a wooden box about yay big, just sort of sits down, sets it in his lap, and then just kind of steeples his fingers back on the table, and you see pacing sort of very slowly, just sort of watching and listening to all of this, but a bit set aside. There is a woman there who's the only other person aside from the ones described in here, sort of ashy brown hair, probably sort of mid to late 20s in age, although her face shows all sorts of signs of like scars. They're likely souvenirs of violent encounters or battles or something like that, and dressed fairly plainly, but thing that strikes you as a little out of place is her left arm is all wrapped up with this bluish gray sort of linen cloth, very tightly, and then sort of banded around with leather strapping. Not like it's like bandaging a wound, but just sort of like fully wrapped. There's no skin exposed. And she's wearing a single leather glove just on her left hand on that same arm. And she just has sort of a long wool traveling dress, a few other layers of sort of practical sort of shawls and cloaks and such. Doesn't really appear to be carrying all that much in terms of gear, just kind of like a coin purse and maybe one other small pouch on her belt.
I go over, like, I think I check in on, like, one or two other people just to kind of, like, that way I'm not making a beeline for her, but, like, I'm kind of, like, going through it and, like, checking on people, maybe pulling out, like, a cookie from my pouch, just a normal cookie.
So
they were the road cookies I made.
Wait,
in
who
here
pulled a
there-
cookie?
Yeah. In here, there's Ondine. There's this woman you haven't met yet. There's Dew. There's Caspian, and then there's your party, and then and Stumbles.
Okay.
That's all of the people that are here. It's not like a crowd of people. It's just
Madam Lindsay's not in here?
Nope. There's no one else in here. And there's also a suspicious total lack of animals.
There's the
Separate.
mouse.
Aside from Stumbles.
Stumbles. Where's Madam Lindsay?
Stumbles does not respond.
Stumbles.
I should take away my icons and stuff. Let's see.
Goose is gonna get Eloise out.
This feels like 10 minutes. Everyone gets 21 points of prayer of healing. Healing.
Eloise, I know that you can't talk to me, so any information you get, you can't transmit. And I also don't know if you can talk to other animals, but could you get information from Stumbles about Madam Lindsay? Thank you, Eloise. Yes. Yes.
Just sort of put Eloise down. She just sort of looks up at Stumbles, and Stumbles just looks down at her, sort of reaches out his trunk. She reaches out her trunk, and they give a little trunk boop.
That one's gonna eat the other.
And then,
I know.
and then Eloise just sort of like flops over on her side.
Tempting, Eloise. Very tempting.
That's
I will remain standing for now.
quite a pet you have there.
Not a pet. Best friend.
Fair enough. What is it?
Eloise.
What is an Eloise?
That.
What does it do?
That is my name.
That is Eloise's name.
Yeah,
No,
but
Eloise's not. Eloise's name is not do. Eloise's name is Eloise. Just to be perfectly clear.
that would be quite the coincidence.
It's supposed to be-
it appears that if they are communicating, it is totally unbeknownst to you.
Grist has complete faith in Eloise. Grist finds that a lot of communication between Grist and Eloise is also unannounced and unbeknownst.
Everyone involved, including Groost.
All right. So, what would the rest of you like to be doing?
Are we all healed?
Yeah.
Looks
For those who haven't adjusted their healings? Who's
Yeah,
up first?
let me put myself at max. 35. So,
Real
so
quick.
I go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
So, other woman, who are you? My name's Grist. I'm a friend of Du.
I just watched the two of you meet.
Right. And we're friends already. See how quickly you could be a friend of mine?
Well, you certainly do make friends very quickly.
Yes. You haven't attacked me yet.
I don't plan on attacking you.
Then you're a friend.
Should you do something to change my mind, then perhaps, but... My name is Emily.
So... And what do you do?
What do you mean, what do I do?
Well, you've got, all this. So you probably don't build cabbages.
Build cabbages? What?
Is that how you...
Groost,
What?
do you know what a cabbage is?
Yes, but what do you call somebody that makes the cabbage?
Well, you don't make a cabbage.
What do? You put the cabbage baby in the ground. There's a big cabbage.
I lean over to Maliath going, I'm not having the birds and the bees conversation with Groost.
Look, we don't do that in caves.
Just
There's
make
no
sure
soil.
somebody does before Eloise pays the price.
There's no soil. Look, you know what I mean. What brings you by? Where are you from? How do you pass the time? What colored your face up?
I'm
Is it your
traveling,
face?
And as I guess you're straight to the point, encounters during my travels, let's just say. It's been
Fair
a long
enough.
road down from Shora.
So what brings you from Chora?
Closure.
On anything
that
in
was open.
particular, or just
Death of my parents, if you must know.
are they still dead?
I hope so.
I don't know whether that's good or bad. I mean, it's bad, but they're still dead, so it's consistent. I'm sorry they're dead. Are you trying to find what did it, or who did it, or why did it?
Well, I suppose that I've already gone through all of those, and frustratingly found that those who were responsible have already gotten what they deserve. So there's not much left for my rage.
So, you might not want to hear this because you're trapped in a room and there's birds outside, and well, you know, but it might take your mind off of it. But in goblin culture, we try not to worry about, all our goblin friends that have died, because a lot of goblins die all the time. So many of us die. We're just trying to go about our business, and somebody with a big shield and armor, and it just comes by and just kills like a whole cave of us. And there's a cat. You can't worry about who's killing you, because then you're just angry at one person. But you can be angry at why they're killing you, and fix that instead.
Well,
So have you worked out why they killed your parents?
Well, it was two separate, unconnected incidents, but
So it wasn't one contained parent killing. It was two individual. Were they connected?
I mean, they were my parents. Of course, they were connected.
Oh, that makes sense. What about the situations in which they were killed?
Well, they were both killed in the line of duty, serving their lords piously.
Were they priests?
Cleric, and, warrior, paladin, if you will.
So,
Looks back at both of you.
so
Alright, this is not the expression on Zahara's face. This is a Dora expression.
Yeah, this is also a
so when you say you're looking for closure, do you mean you're just trying to fill the void with going? Or is there something specific that will close?
Well, I suppose not one to take up my parents' mantle and struggles, but have a lot of anger left, and better to channel it into something that helps others than to channel it into less healthy ways. So I've scoured for perhaps the roots of the problems that led to their deaths. That has only led me to more other problems.
You don't happen to need to go to the underworld, do you?
So, well, on that topic, you know what really ultimately led to the death of your parents? Death.
Conjecturing goblins.
No. Again, it's not our fault. It's, death did it. So, wouldn't it feel nice to get one over on death?
It was more an act of playing with power beyond one's capability and the manipulation of the forces of life and death that ultimately pitted them against their final adversaries.
Who were they?
My parents.
I know that. Who were they pitted against?
My mother died far to the northeast, country of Arador. You familiar with the tales from Arador?
I know that they're small like me. Wait, no, that's not Eridor, that's the other one. Massalinor.
You don't travel much.
The caves don't go that far.
I mean, we did just establish that he doesn't know what a cabbage is.
I know what a cabbage is. I've eaten many cabbages. How they're built, I'm uncertain.
They're grown in the ground. You plant a seed and it just grows.
So,
Requires sunlight and water.
so they're built out of sunlight, water, and seeds.
You've got the spirit.
Interesting.
And some
Carry on.
hair.
Carry on, Eridor.
Arador. Several years. Well, probably nigh on 10, 15 years from now. In the past, I guess. The great sort of undead upheaval there.
Sorry, how many years ago did you say the Great Undead Upheaval was?
About 15.
Okay, just checking. Yes, I'm familiar.
I'm not.
It had its own consequences for where I am from.
Well, let's just say the king meddled with forces beyond his jurisdiction to control and summoned up all manner of undead, but through cost of much life of many good people, was finally stopped in whatever madness he was trying to levy against the rest of the world and parts beyond. My mother was part of the vanguard force there that helped lead the incursion.
Okay.
She sort of moves her cloak to the side a little bit, and you can see this really like battered medallion on a piece of like sort of leather string. It's just sort of like a symbol of a sun, but it's like very badly like scratched and beat up. But it looks like there's not been any like effort to like repair it or anything. This was my mother's. I wear it not out of my own piety, but simply as a remembrance. Religion did not get my parents a safe and happy life, which wasn't anything that either of them wanted, but not my path. No offense intended to those who do choose it.
What is your path now?
Vengeance.
Against who?
Not really sure yet, just sort of a nebulous need.
Okay. Is that healthy?
I understand.
So, not enough from you, Grumpy. Grumpy friend. Who is Grumpy?
I mean, sometimes justice doesn't deal itself, so you have to deal it for it.
Well, vengeance and justice are two very different things.
There's overlap.
Vengeance doesn't require justice. Vengeance just requires Grumpy.
Do you, have you seen these ravens before? Or it's like...
Once.
Nevermore.
What happened? How did you escape, or how did you get it? What was the conditions you saw them in?
I believe they... I don't know if that's their origin, but things like this were very prevalent in the City of Souls. It's a bastion of undeath, the antithesis of all that is holy, and wrought about not by gods, but by the actions of mortal kind again and again through history. It's created quite a sore on our world when I was younger and much more filled with rage and a bit more impetuous. That's where I decided to focus my energies. I spent a few months there, lashing out at anything I could, but so too did I take lashings from them, and had I not left, I would have become a citizen, so to speak.
Well, that sounded very poetic end for you.
No, I'm far from over.
All right. Again, do you want to go to Death's Door?
Just
I prefer not to die tonight. No.
Oh, I mean, like, I'm actually... It's funny enough. I point to the mess on the ground. It's actually a physical location that he told us about. I mean, I don't know why I'm inviting you. I just feel like there's...
so. If you were going to hide somebody you loved from death, where would you hide them? Or her?
Are you... This is some sort of sick joke.
I'm posing a hypothetical. I want you to empathize with the situation we were in mere hours ago.
I don't understand at all what you're talking about. I just told you about my dead parents, and you're giving me hypothetical situations about life and death of loved ones.
Correct.
You can see how that's maybe a little bit inappropriate, right?
No?
Take my word for it on this one, and just...
Okay. Well, I'll tell you where you wouldn't hide them. At death's door. At the door to the underworld. This guy, for some crazy reason, probably, crazy, hid his sick daughter at death's door. Why?
This is a friend
No,
of
but
yours?
not a friend so much as an
A boss.
ex-alive boss.
I
He
know
wanted.
it's been a kind of a weird couple weeks for us.
Let us sum up his life of recent. He hides his daughter there, travels home with a wizard, recruits people he just met to save his daughter, or go back to his daughter who's at death's door, and then immediately dies.
I don't think the dying was part of his grand plan in all this. Was he some sort of wizard or something?
Well, no, but the point is that any man that should be hiding his daughter at death's door should not also die to a flock of birds. You know? If you're Gwondor, smasher of brains, or Google Meister, caster of great magical spells, then maybe you can hide your daughter at death's door. But when you're... I don't even remember his name. That is how unremarkable he was.
Marcos.
When you're Makas, man of small, unarmored flesh.
I think you're just being rude now, Chris.
I'm not. I'm being incredulous as to why he would hide his daughter at death's door, and how we're now obligated to go there because we're the only one that remembers she's there.
We don't know the way. He was our guide. We don't have a location.
Well, I'm sure we probably do, to some extent.
So, let me
No, we don't.
recap this from perhaps an
North.
outsider's perspective.
Go ahead.
Uh-huh.
You accepted a charge to protect this man, and he is now dead.
Yeah, you're spot on so far.
Actually, that's very much incorrect. We accepted a charge to help him help his daughter.
Well then,
There was no implication of protection, however, or I'm sorry, there was only implication of protection.
it sounds to me like your job is not yet done.
Yes, our employers perished. But fair say that if we go help the daughter, something similar may happen. It might be the correct move to not go kill another poor halfling.
We're not looking for you to hire us, really. You have this whole thing going on.
I'm not
And I
interested
feel-
in hiring you. You clearly do a shit job.
We're not interested in being hired.
That's fair. That's fair.
You seem like you have the right vibes. Honestly, at this point, we're mostly a vibe-based party.
Uh-huh.
I like do.
What?
Can I would like to just see, is she like just like not having any of this, like just not a joiner, and is just like
You guys grip
I
on
wanna
the
get a feel
weirdest things.
yeah, I don't know why I'm like,
We need to get her to join us. What?
well, I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure out everything.
She's available to continue conversing with. You could make
Oh, yes.
a wisdom insight check if you want to.
Yeah. I guess I'm trying to formulate a question versus just being like, how does she feel to me? Like that's.
I have a question for you, actually, Olive.
Yeah.
Do you understand the properties of potion enough to say that maybe it, being in divine nature, could restore a halfling back to some sort of semblance of life? Or we could just delay our trip and go harvest yet another?
I mean, I can. I can think about it. I don't really think I. Did he have any notes on him as well about this? That we took with us.
If it's that potion you took off of him, I could perhaps bring it back to the library, and you could have a look and see.
So far away.
Why would you need to bring it to the library?
Because I myself am not an alchemist, but there are those who are versed in quite a wide spectrum of intellectual pursuits at the library, and I'm sure they would be quite interested in whatever this life-giving potion is.
It may not be giving life. It may only cure the ailment that his daughter is under. We don't know the effects of this thing.
Well, all the more reason to learn about it then. I mean, where did it come from?
Indeed.
A plant.
What kind of plant?
I don't know. You must understand, I was confused with the mechanics of the cabbage mere moments ago.
So, I mean,
Plants are beyond me.
this confusing plant, where was it? Nearby?
Not so far away. Olive, maybe we should just try it. And if it doesn't work, we can go back and learn from his notes to
Okay.
harvest another.
I hand it over to you.
Should we stitch the head back on first?
Should at least have it in the correct proximity.
Oh. God.
What do you mean, Bruce, I've
Um,
seen how your mannerisms are at the table. This should be nothing.
Right, but look, I'm trying to.
Undine just sort of unceremoniously stands up, picks up the head, and just holds it onto the...
Oh, actually, really quickly, I just want to do a comparison, sniff of it. I know what a healing potion is like. Does this smell like? Do they have similar properties, or do they feel vastly different?
This is
Via
Mountain Dew.
sense
It's
of-
just Mountain Dew.
Via sense of smell, they do not smell similar.
Okay. I mean, we can try this. They don't seem the same.
So,
It doesn't seem the same as a healing potion, but then again, I've never used a healing potion on a decapitated person before.
I might
So-
say, if this is as powerful as you surmise, wouldn't this be sort of a waste of that kind of thing?
no, not at
Well,
all.
Not if the person who knows how to create it is the one who's dead, right? Then you would argue that this is exactly the kind of use for it, because then you can make more.
Can we just picture this for a minute? I make some of my my deliciously magic things, and I'm decapitated, and you try to shove what I made down my throat.
Well,
I don't know.
If
But
it
we,
had a
we don't know that
chance
it's
to save-
ingestion as much as it is just,
application.
a little bit of some salt, and we're just gonna. It's a baste, is what I'm doing. I'm
Okay,
gonna
well,
baste them.
It's actually really easy. Let's just try it and see what happens. Right now.
Just gonna make
Okay.
now, mind you, I'm not an arcanist, but I'm just calling it now that this is going to do nothing.
I agree.
But you're basing that off of nothing.
Yes, but
No, I'm basing it off of the fact that it was created to help somebody who was near death. Please listen to the word I'm using here.
Just
No,
It is
most
the
okay,
word
well,
near.
Hold,
It is
hold
possible
on.
that
It
he
is-
is near death, he's just a little bit on the other side of it.
Correct.
I think
Correct.
he's quite far past the
he's
other side.
only mostly dead.
yes.
Well,
So
why-
I'm
why
gonna
don't-
stop the argument and apply it now.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
How
I'm gonna
are
put what
you-
I can into his mouth.
Okay,
I am
so
going to
ingestion.
Also, put a little bit on the neck to try to see if there's any kind of.
Just like glue it back together.
See, when you have a little squirt bottle, just the blue liquid, you'll just right into the mouth like Banaka, but then also a little bit of dab on.
Is there any particular skill or knowledge you would like to apply to try to aid in what you're doing, or is this just happening at random?
I'm not trained in medicine, but since I'm the one doing it, I think I could attempt to still roll medicine to see if I do it
Okay.
even remotely close.
As somebody trained in medicine, can I perhaps provide my aid?
Nope, I took the initiative.
Oh, okay. Good
and
luck.
I said, you guys are just babbling on and on and on, and I know where this goes. This goes forever. So I'm just gonna do it
All
now.
right. Make me a medicine check.
Hey-oh! Ha ha! Not trained because I rely on my magic. 16, not the worst
All
job
right.
for someone who's only fake. I only play a doctor on TV.
I would like you to hold on. Let me
Now we're gonna have to fight the undead. Oh no! It turns into a wraith.
So based on that, I'm just gonna write out a little randomized table here, and then we'll roll.
What?
All right. I would like you to roll me a D100, please, and this will consume all of the potion that you have.
I'm gonna roll 1d100. I guess. Let's call it an 86, shall we? Based on the numbers being in the correct order for that to be true.
All right. So as you apply this, and Ondine sort of unceremoniously holds the head there, with a little bit of fascination in her eyes. You see it sort of begin to glow, and as you sort of like apply it, sort of the head sort of takes on that warm orangish glow to it, and the wound around the neck begins to slowly sort of move and stitch itself back in together as the head begins to reform onto the body, and this warmth orange light sort of flows over it, and you can see the chest cavity sort of just rise up a little bit and then come back down like it takes a breath. It sort of flows over the
Live! It's alive!
Flows
Sorry.
over the whole body, and then the body starts to shake, and it spasms for a second or so, and then collapses again, limp. But the eyes open, and there's a whispery breath that comes out. You, looking over at Maliath and sort of your knowledge of other somewhat similar cleric spells and such, you get the sense that for a brief moment you had actually brought him back to life, but whatever you did, it wasn't, by just tiniest bit, wasn't quite enough to bring him back to life. But there is some semblance now that you have sort of tapped into whatever life essence there is, and it's now in a sort of suspended state that has given you a communications pathway to the not yet departed soul in his body, much like a speak with dead spell. So you've effectively cast speak with dead on him.
So, out of character, I had to speak with dead not on my spell list because I figured we're in town, what could happen? And I had very much intended on switching out a spell for it tomorrow, but we haven't gotten there yet. It's been a long day.
So
I looked down.
a 90 would have revived it, based on your medicine check.
Oh, well then. Yeah, that's
So
no.
you were very
that's not even
close.
I'll just have you know that the 16 I roll, if that was taken away from 100, I would have made it. Just FYI.
The 15 plus on the medicine check was what gave you like a decent wit. It wasn't like roll 100 on a D100.
I suppose we have some conversation to ask. I don't even know how many questions we get. I don't have the spell right now.
5.
Well, the spirit's close by and is happy to speak. Oh, I'm sorry. It's like speak with dead. So we are speaking with its spirit and not just the remains.
we'll just use the mechanics of speak with dead because.
Okay.
But you are sort of, you get the sense that like, this happened so shortly that like the process he's still doing paperwork at the pearly gates, etc.
What's it like out there? No. Is the questions fall to me, or can anyone please help me?
That's two.
Do you? I mean, so you tell us? Oh, we can talk to it. Yeah.
Yeah, like, I suppose we can converse
Hey.
with it. It's not quite alive.
Maybe we should ask him for directions to his daughter.
Or
I
how
agree
to,
with
how
that.
to make the potion, because we used
And how-
it.
I'd be
And
very
how-
curious to know how to make more of that.
And how to make the potion.
Does your home contain written instructions on how to create the potion?
The potion is the nectar.
Oh, it's going to be difficult. It's being difficult.
No instructions required.
Ah, that's much clearer. Thank you. Thank you. How much time will the plant need before another harvest is capable of happening?
You can harvest the nectar for 3 days, once each year. Or find your own.
I look at Cassie and I'm like, yeah, just go ahead. Let's get this done with again.
I'm very sorry. This is awkward. I didn't know that we'd be speaking again after this. You were dead before, right? Yes. Oh, did that?
Cassie used just a question.
Hang
no.
on, we want to ask directions.
No.
Sorry.
Uh,
I didn't-
Espion.
How do we get to your daughter at death's door?
Please hold your call is important to us. I need to look-
If he's gonna monologue for an hour talking about take 11 steps and then
Olive conjures her quill and is ready to write it all down.
It's not very long. I just need to make sure I say the right name of a place. Or I could just make it up and then change it later.
I mean, we could montage him writing down really
montage.
difficult directions,
It's
and
very hard
Olive's
for
like,
him to write anything in his current state.
I'll write it down. I can dictate.
Follow the river west from Warlam's Basin to the foot of the Dove Rock Mountains, and then
You
cross
say New Orleans?
south toward the Ashen Vertex. You will need a guide once you reach the mountains.
There's river west to the base of the Dove Rock Mountains. Was there another place name in that?
Warlam's Basin.
Warlam's.
So
Wormtongue.
Any of you who are like even vaguely aware of geography, Warlam's Basin is sort of like the huge lake that's in the center of Agra. It's like an unmistakably large body of water for anyone, even geographically.
Now, out of character, the halfling had mentioned. Was there a boatman, a Karen type, or Charon type figure, depending?
He had
mentioned?
actually mentioned
Fairy
a
person.
ferryman.
Right. Should we ask about the ferryman and what the appropriate?
Yeah. I think that's a good thing.
What tokens should we give the ferryman for passage?
One Avril Lavigne CD.
Oh, we don't want it
What a
to
poll.
attack us. Ooh.
Hold on. I don't want this quest to be complicated.
So stand by as I come up with some maze. Yeah. Mm.
No, because that's the Avril Lavigne's.
Oh.
Luckily, I'm immune to knowing that.
Complicated. Yeah. Shark
was-
in a passage to hell is overrated. Yeah.
Are you sure it's not Lavigny?
Yeah, I think it might be.
I've heard both.
Ferrymen drive a steep price. You must pay heavily, or in something of value beyond monetary compensation.
Oh, vague.
I've seen the Infinity War and Endgame. I know what he's talking about. It's fine.
Zahawa, when it comes down to it, I won't sacrifice you, okay?
Thanks, Grist.
You're welcome.
He's talking about Loth.
What?
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 Loth.
What?
Loth.
I don't know what that is.
It's one
Please
of the-
expand.
They're a type of Yugoloth, mercenaries, lower planes and such. They're very covetous. They maintain quite good reputations at never failing those who contract them. But be careful, as they will exploit any and all possible loopholes you make in your deals with them. Anything you'd like to hire them for, they're likely game if you can pay.
Seem to know a lot about this.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
They usually have their own vessels. They can take you along the river Styx.
So, I know what we're doing, and I know what you're doing too. I know you're going to try and follow us. Or send people to follow us.
Why would I send people to follow you?
Because you want the potion stuff, right?
Well, you just used the potion.
Right, yes, but you want more.
I have no need for it.
Okay, well, that's good. Feels like I was
don't
being a
think
bit...
she speaks for everyone, but
No, that's, I was
clearly-
talking to you. I said do. That's you. Your voices are different. I was confused. I was talking to you, deeper voice man, not to you, woman who's only a bit edgy.
that's
Emily, I said do.
Edgily.
I did say do.
Are you traveling together?
no. We met just several hours ago. What with the Raven Rain and all.
Yes,
Has
do.
there been any kind of lifting of the rain, by the way?
Not that you can tell.
Okay.
Yes. Well, this is all very prophetic, but whatever
He said the word.
wild goose chase going on here to find a daughter that may or may not even be there, seems that you do have knowledge of something incredibly valuable and would be quite lucrative for all of you. If you instead perhaps show me where the source of this came from, and we can.
Well, how about something entirely not unilateral? We need to harvest this to continue on our wild goose chase.
Surely the resources of other librarians would be of great help to you in this or whatever quest. You know, there is interest for curious, talented individuals like yourself to work as contractors.
Well, if you're trying to gain our employ, I'm not against it. However, as you say, we have a task left undone, so let us complete
You owe nothing to this man. He is dead.
Well, we owe one
No,
thing.
but the negotiation is what we have and what you desire. We have the location of the plant that this halfling has spoken to us about. We've seen the harvest. We have an accomplished wizard in this olive here. I think we can harvest what we need to continue on our path. However, at which point we will no longer need that item, and thus negotiations can be opened. If you'd like to know that location, or if you'd like it delivered to you, that might be something.
You can't harvest this nectar if it dies, so maybe don't move it. Right.
You know about plants, Roost.
Well, that's not how they're built.
Well, if something is dead, it can't give you its stuff, right?
Yeah, but the
Well, that's not actually true. We've had very good luck in looting dead corpses.
Right, but we don't get all their stuff. We only get the stuff that's there then. We don't get all the stuff that they will ever have. If I kill you now, I won't get the things that you would get in 10 years.
There's
Would
no
I?
guarantee that you'll get the things I'll get in 10 years if you don't kill me.
But I might.
Gross.
Yes, yes.
No, don't do this.
Spray bottle.
Rein it in. Let's weather the storm. Let's go.
Your stuff that you get in 10 years.
Let's go back and harvest what we can. However, if this man wishes to accompany us to learn the location, that will, of course, require negotiation.
I'm willing to negotiate terms, of course. Find that the benefactors of the library can be very generous if presented with something of value.
Well, you've seen the effects can almost even bring back something to life, not allow for communication. And I'm sure there's additional effects as we were not intending to use it like this.
Yes, of course.
So, what
Your
do you offer for such a
demonstration of
prize?
Mere random test was quite fruitful. I'm sure with enough study this could be used for all sorts of purposes. What is it you value? It's wealth, and that is a mere triviality.
Fantastic. I've been dying for new armor.
Is,
I mean,
I want access to your library.
So far away. Wait, is it in the right direction? Are we going that way?
I want a library card.
The library is to the west. Access to the library can be troublesome and is not given on a guest single-time access. Only members of the Brotherhood are able to use the information within. It is there, but perhaps with a offer of a small sum, say 5,000 gold, you can have an accord.
And
You're conducting operations and negotiations when we haven't concluded our initial one.
Library is not what you typically think of a normal library, now is it? Libraries typically don't have membership. that you have to pay for.
That's not always true.
Well, no, I meant 5,000 gold for the location of this nectar-giving plant.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I got lost in my head for a minute. It
I
happened.
also misunderstood.
Membership to the library is something that will take longer to organize, and is not something that I myself am at liberty to offer.
But you can start that process.
I am a curator of items, but yes, I can start those lines of conversation if you wish.
So I'm going to look over at Zahara with that. Are you sure, look? This is the path you'd like to take?
Yes.
Then I think...
There's no point in me. I mean, she kind of waves her hand. I mean, no offense to the mortal realms, but the mortal realms are only as interesting to me as the things they can teach me.
This is perhaps very fortuitous that we all ran into each other.
Right. So,
Direness
Zahara,
of circumstances.
where are you from again?
The Feywild.
Oh, right. Are you immortal? But doth but no parsnips. Where are you from? No, I was that. Are you immortal? Sorry, I got lost in my own question.
I think for the Fey mortality,
Right, but
it's
but
not quite the same.
for the Fae, isn't, if I killed you now, would you stay dead?
Here, probably.
Okay, so not
There,
immortal.
maybe not.
Well, maybe there's a lot of maybe going on
There's
here.
a lot of neither here nor there.
Yeah, you're not being
Look,
very committal in either direction.
Look, the Lich King did a fair amount of damage to both sides of the veil.
Well, maybe you should have told him not to.
Right.
Fantastic. Olive, do you have any thoughts on the library?
Olive, before answering, is going to tap on her book, kind of like, not quite Morse code, but like a code that she kind of has with Cosima. Kinda, yeah.
Is this your way of putting your chin on her shoulder and whispering?
No. I just, basically what I'm looking for is, I feel like sometimes I ask her questions, it's just yes or no. So like if she's ruffled her pages before, right? Is that, did you see this man when you were at the library?
You get a no.
No, okay. Are you okay if we go there?
Yes.
Okay. I guess it's okay.
So,
I think we have an accord then. 5,000 for the location. Not the location first, but simultaneously. Or, of course, we'll accept the gold first if you have that kind of trust in us, but simultaneously is likely the way to go.
hold on. I feel like we should negotiate something else. So, just so we're clear, we're giving the location, but we still need to harvest it.
Yes.
So, Mr. Do,
The asset doesn't lose value because
No, I
we've
understand.
harvested.
I understand, but it loses immediate value because he has to wait.
It
I
is
mean,
good, as Chris
the
is
guy-
saying,
the
to
guy
say
didn't
the
s-
terms.
The guy didn't say that that you couldn't harvest more than once, just that you were limited within a certain window of time.
Right, but we don't know how much you can harvest in the sense that maybe you can harvest for the whole 3 days, but you only get a little dribble at a time. You know? We need to get enough for a potion's worth for the daughter.
Let it not trouble your minds. Our benefactors are incredibly patient when it comes to these things. Do what you need to do to satisfy your moral and financial obligations to this man, be they posthumous as they may. And you are comfortable that you have done with this nectar what you need to, I will purchase the location for 5,000 gold.
Cool.
And we have nothing to do left than to weather the storm, wait for our opportunity to go back out and do what we need. Do you have this kind of capital available to you here?
Not within this room, no.
But
I can
here in general.
procure it fairly quickly.
Nice.
It's the library is a very well
So what I'm saying,
network, and there are typically benefactors to be reached, even the most remote parts of the world.
Life. Turn slightly to the side here so I can say things without them hearing. What's to stop him from just following us?
what we are.
Right, but what if we don't see the people following us? And they just follow us?
Well, we'll make sure.
Okay. Okay.
Besides, if something untoward happens, we'll just destroy what the asset is. But
Am I overhearing you correctly that you all are in need of security?
Yes, Caspian.
Yes, we are.
We'll,
Who you gonna kill this time, Caspian?
We'll hopefully anyone who makes you feel insecure.
You're making me feel a bit insecure right now, Caspian.
The offer does not extend to the help. And is it all right if Ondine comes? She's a little bit, lost, out of sorts.
Yeah.
Ondine is the one who's lost and out of sorts.
Right, yeah, because she hasn't really had a career yet. Job.
She seems to be doing just fine. You are the one who just cut the head off a defenseless halfling man.
Act of mercy.
Well, maybe they're both doing quite bad. That's possible.
I think you've hit the nail on the head there.
Not our best day ever.
No.
That
Just-
was
just-
last Tuesday. Great
What would
breakfast. Got some of those passion fruits from
Zahara?
the east.
What-
Yes,
What-
dear.
Why did you start this? Why did you start
Grilled
this
those up.
monologue from him?
I
There's
listened
this-
to his
it's-
whole meal.
It's wonderful that you think I have control over his monologues.
So, we should get going. Oh wait, there's a bird storm going on.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, honestly, if we left during this would ensure following us would be very hard.
If we go quietly, make very little noise, and don't start firing off any radiant signals, we should be okay. I say that with absolutely zero conviction or knowledge as to whether it's true. So,
that's what you say everything with. So let's go.
no, I don't.
Before you leave, just know that there's something likely in this building. She sort of just like looks of everything that has attracted the attention of this.
Oh yeah, we should go find.
Right, we did come here for a reason, didn't we?
Oh fuck it, yeah. Madame Lindsay. Oh.
I think I forgot because there was murder, but we did come here for a purpose.
Well, and two very interesting mystery NPCs in here,
Yes.
might I add.
Stumbles. What will you do? Bruce would like to get down on one knee and try and get a feel for Stumbles' demeanor. Bruce has spent many a day with Stumbles now, or around Stumbles.
You get this. Make an insight check.
I will. 15.
15, not too bad. So you get the sense that in Stumble's eyes, there's a little bit of melancholy, but also mixed with a potent cocktail of possibility.
What the fuck does
Ooh,
that mean?
so
Which-
alluring.
Stumbles, perhaps, tastes freedom on the air.
Stumbles, would you like to come with us? Or... Actually, it's difficult because I don't... Okay. Stumbles.
We're about to traverse the Underdark, and you want to bring an elephant?
No, well,
I'm just saying.
It's a
I was
small
going to...
elephant.
I was going to offer multiple choice, but then I was met with two problems. So his problem was Stumbles. Do you know what I'm saying?
Stumbles looks blankly at you like he understands what you're saying.
Okay. Hold on, let me whack my little brain. I've got any way to communicate with you. I do not. Okay. Well, Stumbles, because let's go see if Madam Lindsay's here first. And you can come with us, Stumbles.
I can save you some time with that. I'm pretty sure she's dead.
Okay.
What?
Okie
It
dokie.
wasn't. Nope, not. There's no.
Was it you?
Did you also
you
cut
try-
off
did you
her
try-
head?
Protect
No.
her?
When we got here, we saw some animals on the loose, so we kind of, gathered them up, opened the doors again. Little guy over here is, was one of the hardest to get in, but I kind of have a thing with animals. It was probably from all of the chipmunks that I, was around in Amber Lake. It was good. I feel akin with them.
Okay.
But her body's out in the back. Not sure what happened, but judging by that, she was killed by the ravens. Her body's mostly ripped apart.
Oh.
Yeah. What?
Well,
she's more of the medical type. I see.
as the last surviving intern, I think that makes me the purveyor of the circus. That's how business structure works,
It's
I think.
not how internship works.
Ah, fuck. Well, let's go find out what they wanted. Let's go. Walking now. Anybody coming?
I'm going with Grease.
Yes.
The elephant gets up.
I didn't even want to come here.
Come on, Eloise.
Look back at
and,
the dead halfling.
and you, Stumbles.
Stumbles sort of follows along.
Why are we taking the elephant to go investigate?
Meat shield.
They never forget anything, Dora. They never forget.
Because the elephant saw opportunity.
Oh, there was Can we swing by the marketplace on our way out?
When we leave, sure. But we're
Yeah.
not leaving it.
I thought we were leaving. Everyone got up to leave.
No, we're going
I think
to
we were going to
find
go
out.
inspect a corpse.
You know
And
what
also
those
the-
are
More
like.
importantly, we're looking for a source of attraction for this doom storm.
Gotcha. Yeah,
Correct.
well, you can search me if you want. I have had magical things attracted to me in the past. It was an awkward weekend.
I'm gonna
But
do you.
her body's out there. Yeah.
I'm gonna do you a favor on the
Insight check.
You can insight check as well. If you would like.
Just rocks. Just all rocks in the head.
Okay, that feels about right.
You don't really
Hard
know
to
what
read.
he's talking about. He's not hard to read. Just sometimes books don't have that many pages. If you're going to take a look at the body, perhaps I can offer a little bit of assistance. I'd like to not be trapped here in whatever this is.
Sure.
Is this
Appreciate it.
mystery lady or is this on Dean?
Mystery lady.
Emily.
I will stay
Emily
here.
Ivo.
I find corpses in the lake a bit off-putting.
You do. Do you?
Done.
Is the body like is it no longer able to be asked questions?
No, you still have one question left.
Oh, I thought we had 5. I thought Caspian asked.
Yeah, that was
Oh, I see.
I'm gonna walk back over to the corpse. And I'm gonna
We'll
stand
just
over
leave
it.
him hanging. You stay
Oh.
right here.
Let me die.
I'm gonna stand over. I'm gonna stand over him, and I'm gonna say, "Do you have any message that you want us to carry to your daughter?"
Tell her I love her and that I'm sorry.
Oh, we could have guessed that one.
Well, then rest in peace, and I will kneel down beside him and close his eyes. As I presume the corpse now falls back into...
Yes, but the head does not fall off.
No good.
I don't suppose anyone has gentle repose, just in case we can come back and save him later.
No.
I do not.
So, Emily, what's your surname?
His surname is Ivo.
Oh my, yes! Yes!
How did you not figure that out?
Just wanted to be 100% sure.
She's wearing the symbol Kendra pulled off of Persephone's corpse.
That's... Don't know why I'm so excited about this. I'm just a copper.
Well, the body. She
So
sort of
I would like to, yeah, as we,
lead you to it.
yeah, I would like to investigate the body, the area.
Just real quick. So I've killed 100%. I've been a part of the death of 100% of the Ivo so far. Could we not go 3 for 3, please?
We're gonna be given a choice.
Investigation roll on the body.
Oh, that's a 10.
Weird saying, Beth, about not giving people ideas, but go on.
So looking over the body of Madame Lindsay here.
I'm a wizard, not a doctor, Jim.
Or Baroness, sorry. Baroness Lindsay. Her clothing is tattered and torn to shreds. There's lots of sort of superficial lacerations and some deeper ones, very much consistent with the wound patterns that you've seen on everyone else. It looks, at sort of first cursory glance, like she likely died of sort of like the death by 1,000 paper cuts thing. There's a fairly large pool of already starting to coagulate blood underneath her. But beyond that, it's a little bit gruesome, as it's not, there's no like single one neat clean wound or anything, but that's been quite a bit picked apart.
Is there any of the other animals also dead around her?
Looking around, there does appear to be some other animal casualties that you recognize from the circus, but they're more of like the sort of like mundane beasts. You don't see any of the more magical animals. The blink dog is not here.
Might be time to detect that magic there, Zahara. Olive.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you stood in the way. I was gonna talk to Olive, and you walked by, and I thought,
Target
there's Zahara.
I was getting there. Let's not rush me.
Oh, sorry.
I was gonna ritually cast detect magic, but it's also 11:15, so I don't know.
Yes, I do need to go to bed pretty quick.
But that would be your next plan, is to do that.
And as you've finally sort of gone out into the back room, this is sort of like through two like saloon style doors out back, sort of through the kitchen to like where there is a back exit here. And there's some other sort of, like behind the scenes rooms there where the body is. Far away from everyone else. Emily does sort of come up alongside you, Zahara, as the rest of them are looking at the body. You should be careful what you are going after. Virtue's Reach is not something to be... you're not going to out-resource them or outmaneuver them. If you're going to do whatever you're going to do, make sure you play by the rules. And remember that you don't make the rules, even if you think you do.
Do you mean in terms of me trying to get access to this library, or do you mean in terms of the deals we're making right now?
The library. Who do you think backs the library?
I mean, I presume those very powerful if there's enough information
Librarian.
contained in it, as it sounds like.
Virtue's Reach is singular in their purpose.
And what is that purpose?
Well, they fancy themselves a bit of the moral high ground to keep those of you like myself and the rest of you in check. People who have extraordinary abilities, who can travel from place to place, doing largely as they please. They are those without those grand powers, but with perhaps something even more easily leveraged wealth. And library is one of their pet projects. They feel if they can consolidate the right amount of information and remove it from public consciousness, that they will then gain some control over things. But they lack faith and belief. And that is limiting when trying to keep the adventuring world in check. Just be careful. They will gain great benefit from whatever you are giving them, and will pay handsomely for it, but don't think for a minute that you have leverage over them. Be an unfortunate enemy to make.
Imagine so. I appreciate your counsel.
Never made an enemy yet.
And as far as the doors to the underworld, could be a good new beginning for me.
So you're interested in traveling with us then?
Dang it.
If you have me, possibly.
Yes. I mean, we admittedly don't have a great track record. However, we always welcome another traveling companion. Zahara, by the way, and I extend a hand.
Emily.
First.
That other woman doesn't say much. Something not right with her.
Yeah. I suppose she is at this point somewhat of an experiment in whether an empty vessel can grow a soul.
Another conversation for another time.
Give us a couple nights on the road. I'm sure we can. We've had an interesting few weeks.
If I had money to put on it, it's either her or whatever's in that box that that other gentleman from the library is holding. That's what's drawn all of this here. This storm is a equalizing force. Something's out of balance in life or death. It comes to tip the scales. Or it was attracted to whatever that potion was you were carrying, and can all be on our merry way now that it's been used. As long as there's not an abundance more of it around anyway. But I think that is where we should end tonight.
Before we end, can I get a vibe check on Emily?
You have a specific.
Just in that
I'd like
because she's
to try to get away from like
Yeah,
let's
no, I know.
vibe check everything to.
more. I think I'm more specifically what I mean is she's coming and she's kind of placing herself as being in the position of like offering advice. So does the advice feel like it is well meant, or does it feel like she's trying to manipulate us?
insight check. She
11.
is forthcoming with advice.
Okay.
What her motivations are, who knows? Cool. Well, we will end here. Unknown stranger has head off into the night, chosen not to be pursued by all of you, and instead you found your way here. And a couple things happened.
I didn't want to really focus on the guy running around the town because I'm like I was worried for the halfling. That was just my little thought process. In hindsight, however,
He was safe. We got him inside.
like get inside. No, there's none of them in there. Won't follow a little halfling. Oh yeah, they completely. That's all they could look at apparently.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you all for playing. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you Roll20 for having us as part of your Spotlight program. Visit roll20.net for all your virtual tabletop needs. Thank you Kevin MacLeod for all of this wonderful royalty-free music. We're jamming to Rights by Kevin MacLeod. We also heard Shores of Avalon. And what else did we hear? I don't even know. At the beginning there was some Anomaly, and we're also listening to the dulcet naturey tones of Dark and Stormy by Tabletop Audio. So thank all of you for your auditory snacks that we've been munching on all evening. Check us out on social media. YouTube, search for Roll It Slant, watch back episodes, see how we got to this. Also, something I forgot to say, this was actually episode 13. It only happens every time. And follow us on Twitter if you want to see strangely, or I guess not strangely, predictably formulaic tweets every time we go live, so that you can know if you're connected to Twitter, or you can just follow us here on Twitch and get a notification, or if you're feeling really benevolent, you can subscribe to us. For each of you that subscribes, we will get one more subscriber. So thank you very much. And we will see you on Thursday for what might be the final episode of Lions and Crows. I say in like a totally not sarcastic way.
It's legitimately possible, but this could be the last episode, or the penultimate, or the pencil ultimate, depending on
your writing implement.
Mm.
Cool. Yeah, we had an epic fight
Feather and
last time,
ultimate.
and excited to see how all of that resolves. Cool. Did I miss anything?
No.
No. Okay. Well, I don't remember how we usually end, so we'll be sharp and...